Yes, people, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome back to another live news, interactive news on Chelsea Perspective. Today we have a mashup of news and also the fun exercise of trying to predict Graham Potter's lineup. And today we'll be trying to predict the lineup if he decides to deploy a 4-3-3 structure. It is going to be fun. So if you want to be part of the show, stick around. Don't go anywhere. Also, keep liking the video again and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. But more importantly, good morning, good afternoon, and a good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. But lest I forget, a blue morning to you all, because in fact, it is the Blue Morning Show. Let's get into the show. Yes, people, once again, blue morning to you all. I hope you're all doing well. Please, as you're coming in, like the video. Also, do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes do go a long way for the channel. The likes triggers the YouTube algorithm, which pushes the stream to more people who'd be interested in this particular exercise. And also, again, the topic that we have to discuss today, because it is an interactive show, so chances are somebody in the chat will bring up an interesting topic or a transfer topic, but we have not, and we will talk about it. Again, more importantly, happy birthday to the maestro himself, to the, you can say, the general himself, one of the best defenders ever to have, walked the planet, Thiago Silva. Today, the man becomes 28. It just seems 38. You see, and that's it has to show you again. If you see him play, you think he's in his late 20s at most. Yeah, but the man is 38, and it's unbelievable how he's been able to take care of himself. Play again. His intelligence, I must say, is his biggest asset. So happy birthday to this man right here. Again, I've never seen any footballer as intelligent as him. Again, his ability to control the game even without speaking, it's something, again, I haven't seen anywhere. So happy birthday to Thiago Silva. Hopefully, I'll get more people on the panel to, say their birthday wishes, and those in the chat also to say to the birthday wishes to this special, spectacular, exceptional player. I haven't never seen any player again who's as good as he is in executing that center back role. Again, thank you again. Let me see what we have in the chat. As it is the tradition, I will look there to see people will have there. Say hello to them again, because it is an interactive show and it's important that I say hello to them. Just two people at this point. We have Liam says Blue Morning Kachila. Again, panel and chat, and this name. Have I forgotten who this person is? Mickey Mount Out. This sounds like a name like from a Portosexual, but again, it's okay. Mickey Mount Out. Morning, coach. Morning to you too, Mickey Mount Out. Let me call you the name you've chosen to go by. I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you in the chat. Thank you so much for finding the time to join. Again, now we will let me see what we can do again. Let me see what else I have to look at here. Okay, nothing else in the chat. Again, I just shared the link to the panelists so they can join if they have time. Now I'm going to go back to looking at some news we have lined up so I can go through that. I'm not starting here. Okay, this one here, which says, let me zoom out a bit so you can see my screen. And again, thank you people as you're coming in. Please be sure to like the video. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. This is Pikes saying, quoting CFC 365 official, saying, understand Graham Potter held a long meeting with N'Golo Kante over his role in the Chelsea side. Again, article include injury update. Okay, he's talking about what's included in the article, that where you read more about the meeting with N'Golo Kante. Even without looking at that, again, I suspect that the discussion will be about, you could say, the inability of the club and the player to reach again an agreement, to reach common ground. And again, if Potter really wants him, that's when he gets to convince him, to try to convince him, to try to find a resolution with the club and remain at the club. And I know Potter, who wouldn't want N'Golo Kante in his team. Again, if the new owners, if they think otherwise, then I'd be surprised. But he's a player I truly would want to remain at the club, no matter what. Again, if you argue he'd played less game, he'd become injury prone. And then I'd argue also that this is a guy who won us the Europa Cup when he's half fit. He also won us the Champions League when he's not fully fit. He's a big game player. And again, I don't need to tell you guys this. There will be no shortage of clubs who would be interested in his signature. So again, I don't know why they're reluctant in offering him 3+1 contract, which was what the previous owner had on the table for him, and they changed it. Like, if I could, that on its own makes it disrespectful to the player who served the club so well. And you could argue, due to how much game he's played for the club, he's become injury prone, if that's the argument. But let's see. Again, says, yep. Okay, so I guessed it correctly. It says new name. Again, new me coach. Okay, I take that. And it says it could be the wage. There's a chance that may well, but I don't think a Potter is in the position to discuss the player's wage. Probably, again, more of him emphasizing how important the role, like stated here on what we have on the screen, the role that N'Golo Kante will play for the team going forward. And I think an important role. If he's going to switch systems, you could say maybe, now we have Dennis Zakaria who's capable of fulfilling that role. Again, you could say that nobody will be as important as N'Golo Kante if we switch if we switch a structure to where we need a single pivot. He's capable of fulfilling that role. Even in other structures, whenever he's available, you see how much of a difference he makes in the team. Pardon me, let me take a sip of my coffee before I lose my voice. Again, people, as you're coming in, please keep liking the video. And remember, like I said, we also again go into the exercise of picking the 11 if a Porter deploys a 4 at the back system. What players we think will be more suitable to that structure? Okay, here we have again Aubameyang, coming out and saying that he needs again more time, saying he's not 100% fit. It's not easy to play with a mask with an injury, but hopefully I will get 100% as soon as possible. Just as we've argued in the first game that Thomas Tuchel fielded him, we raised the question. We asked the question, why is this guy on the pitch? We had other players, you could argue, who are capable of fulfilling the role if Aubameyang isn't playing. But for some reason, Thomas Tuchel and the club thought, okay, geez, we have this guy, we'll have to play him. A guy, who experienced such a horrible incident where his whole family and the friends in the house were, during a robbery incident, were attacked and he got injured. Again, he had to be taken to the hospital even. So why in a hurry to start him? That didn't make sense. And again, that game, if you watch the game, there are crosses. You could say on his day, he should be getting at the end of those crosses, but he didn't. So that begs the question, if you paid attention, you'd realize, this guy may be physically fit, but mentally, it just looked as if he wasn't there. It just looked as if, he needed a mental break. You could say, like Roger did put it the day we talked about it, maybe he's still experiencing PTSD, because what he experienced is something you could argue when it happened. there could have been a chance that him losing his life in the process, but he survived it. And I like, we thought he'd be given enough time, given at least, let's say, a month or even a few more days, to take a break, and recover from that horrible incident. But the club thought he was ready to start. But you could say his performance on that day showed, yeah, he wasn't ready. And again, my brother Santiago Munoz, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Again, I will work on getting Naiba to be the one to always remind people to like the video and subscribe to the channel if they haven't. But usually, again, I'd have to say that myself, because the truth remains, is sometimes you have to say it yourself before people will oblige, like the video and subscribe to the channel again if they haven't. So again, thank you guys. Going again, so the second game also, you could argue, we saw that Aubameyang wasn't really ready. So if you're in the chat, let me know what you thought about him coming out with this comment. It just doesn't. It just showed, again, the guy needed a break. But I think it's a beat. I think before the Crystal Palace game, he'll probably be ready to start. So that begs the question, who starts? As most Chelsea fans have called for Amanda Brewer to be the one to start. But it remains to be seen what happens. Again, if you're watching once more, if you're in the chat already, take a second to write a happy birthday to this man here, a special player. You could say a generational talent. Yeah, he's been there, he's done that, he's seen it all. Again, there's hardly any type of player in the world that he hasn't played against. That's what makes him a special player. Like, every time I talk about him, I will never forget saying how, even if you're the quickest player on the pitch, you will not get the chance. You will not get the chance to race against him, let alone outpace him, because of his intelligence. He reads the game. He anticipates what the opposition player could do or may be planning to do, and then he'll be in the right place at the right time to break up play, to stop the opposition from doing the damage against our team. So that way, you won't even get the chance to race against him, let alone outpace him. Here again, Hamlin says, please like and subscribe when you enter if you have not, as it helps the channel reach a wider audience. Yep, again, thank you for that. Again, kicked me out from his channel for disagreeing my argument. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's, by the way, again, if you're in the chat, take a second to say happy birthday to the defensive general himself. And please give me a second. Let me take a sip of my coffee so I don't lose my voice. Again, if you're coming in, keep liking the video, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much for all the love. Yep, thank you. And let me keep an eye to see if there's any other update to talk about. And Dana, how are you doing, brother?
I'm all right, coach. I'm all right. Just try to sort my headset out on your stream, because instead of me speaking through the loudspeaker, I'm trying to sort my headset out. But I'm all good. Good morning, coach, and to the chat and the panel and that.
It sounds good now.
Yeah. Because I ain't got my headset on my phone. Sorted my headset out. That's why I'm speaking through the loudspeaker on my phone.
Oh, okay. Let me, again, your thoughts again, some topics. Let me get your opinion on two of the topics we have here, so we'll see more people can join us before we start the lineup creation exercise. This one reports that Graham Potter held a long meeting with N'Golo Kante over his role in the Chelsea side. Article that is talking about an article that he's sharing. Again, if you want to go read it, but your thoughts. What do you think they may have discussed in the meeting? Probably, if somebody in the chat, I think it is Mickey Mount out, said probably his weight. And I think otherwise, perhaps it should be strictly his role. But I don't think Potter changes anything the club thinks about his wage, except if he feels like Kante is important to him and relays that to Todd Boehly, that's when Potter's, whatever Potter thinks can influence on what happens on N'Golo Kante's wage. But if he doesn't, tell them, okay, I really want this guy to stay, then again, they go with what they think he's worth in terms of his wages, and then not offer him more, but I think they should offer him more. But your thoughts on the situation, what do you think they discussed, Daniel?
Coach, I read about this article last night about N'Golo Kante. It's good news actually for the Chelsea and the Borders, and Todd Bowley and Potter are going to have a kind of agreement with N'Golo Kante about his future to stay at Chelsea. With the injury prone, because he's had so much injury, they're going to try and get him his kind of medical to sort out with his leg and that. But I fear that it's a 3+1 year deal. Still going ahead for a 3+1 year deal. So
have they offered him something better? Are they still trying to offer 2+1?
Yeah. It's a 2 to a 3+1, coach.
No, they're offering him 2+1. Plus, they threw away the previous offer that they had on the table for Kante during the Roman era, which I said that I've talked about it, and I said that's disrespectful. Plus I've mentioned the other day when I talked about it, I hated it as much as I loved Thomas Tuchel. I hated it that he openly talked about how, again, the club has to consider N'Golo Kante's injury record, why they negotiate a new wage for with him. But go ahead.
Well, Potter seems to want Kante to stay at Chelsea, and he's got him in his plans, coach. Because he's the way with what Potter said on his fiscal statement on the Chelsea website. He likes he likes how Kante, in a style, how he plays like box to box, and how well he does. And Kante's put, if you notice, Kante actually on his statement a few days ago, there's this thing on his Twitter page, coach, that he would love to stay at Chelsea and retire at Chelsea.
We know that.
Yeah, and he doesn't really want to leave Chelsea and go to any other club now. He wants to stay at Chelsea and retire at Chelsea. So if any of this plan of this deal with Potter and Todd Bowley to keep Kante there, I think we should. I think there should be a good kind of deal with him. And I know they're in talks with a good deal where he can stay long term at Chelsea and retire, and the wage benefits for him. But the situation, because he's injury prone, coach, the amount of times he's got injured, like lately with last season he was so injured, and then this season he got injured. They're going to try to well, as you know, the medical in America got the best medical fitness things out there. So it's just like the UK do it in the UK, but they can't have enough like server to treat the team. So if he flies out to America and gets his medical out there and get his all like sorted out.
No, here's the thing. I must say this. I'm not a doctor, but if you ask me, I'd say Kante's the solution to his problem, his reoccurring injury is simple. Play him less, manage his game time. Don't play him as much as we've played him because of his importance to the team. We have overplayed him. I think that can easily help solve the problem. The lesser he plays, the more the lesser injuries, injury he'd have. So again, I don't know how else to put it, but it's not up to me. I hope they keep him. I hope they realize his importance. But unfortunately, as much as I hate repeating myself, there's something that I've said before that I have to say again. That's a chance, because I don't think he'd be ready again for the Crystal Palace game.
I don't think
it will be. Yeah, if we try to field him on that day, that will mean rushing him back, give him time enough to recover fully. Again, that's a chance we'll play games and feel like we can actually do without him and get what you could call a false sense of security. We feel like we can do without Kante. And the truth is, there will not be there will not be shortage of clubs willing to offer him even 4 years.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how good he is.
We got a special song for Kante at Stamford Bridge Coach. There's one song what we sing to N'Golo Kante when he's playing on the pitch, and he loves it when we sing that song. And the thing is, if he comes back from injury, and I don't think Potter should actually play him straight away. I think they should allow him to have like a 20-minute at the end of the 20-minute game just to warm up his fitness on the pitch. But we call him the Beast. We call him the Beast because he's a predator on the pitch, coach.
Mhm.
As everyone knows, he's a predator on the pitch, in and out. What he does on the pitch, and he works hard day after day on the pitch for Chelsea, and that's how he gets injury. And if this guy stays with us, yes, this is going to be one of the next legend at Chelsea, at like retiring at Chelsea, and like the things he does for us, coach. Kante's
I think everybody knows that. Here's the thing, Dan. Let me just say this quickly, and I'll catch up with the chat. Here's the thing. They know that. I'm sure Todd Bowley knows that. But I think these are people who prioritizes, you could say, profit over everything. It's business, and given how much they spend, they'd like to, squeeze out, profit, or just spend wisely so that when the profit comes, they'd be able to, to break even as soon as possible and then start talking about profit. But that's by the way. Let me catch up with the chat again. Here, Mickey Mouse out says, I'd like a Kante at Chelsea, but maybe on a pay to pay basis for him to earn something like 150K a week. When out injured, reduce it to 60 to 80K a week. That's unfair. And I'll tell you why I think that's unfair. You're talking about a player who's given everything to this club, and you can argue the reason he's become injury prone is because of how much we've played him. But I get your argument. I don't think he'd take it. Again, there are other clubs who'd be willing to give him a 4-year deal. Again, he's that player. He's that special type of player that all you do, you can put him in the category of players such as what's his name? Luka Modric, in terms of how different they are, how exceptional they are, how you can look around and you cannot say this player is just as exactly as this particular player. So what you do is you find a way to manage them, to still keep them around. He's that special, and again, I don't think it makes sense if you present that such contract to him. He will not listen to you again. Because it's a human thing to look at and say, look, after everything I've done, and this is how you're repaying me. Pay to play again. I thought it was something similar, but I said pay to pay again. But I understand it makes business sense. But again, to me, I think it will come across to the player as insulting. Here it says this again. Talking to Santiago Munoz. Let me see anything else to address here. The world never agree. Yeah, again, unfortunately, some people don't see it like that. You have to. It says again, the world never agree to that, as he has so many offers on the table from a lot of clubs. Yep. Again, the same thing I'm saying. And if you do that, that's the chance he'd never listen to you again because he'd feel insulted. Again, already you throwing away what the previous owner had on the table for him. And then, bringing something much smaller, again, nearly half of it, you could say, that already is insulting. I'd see that insulting if I were him. Might be better to cut ties as much as I'd rather with Dean. Kante on form is easily the best player in our squad, but the injuries have really, got to him. And again, if I understand your argument there, but if you look at Kante's situation, you'd argue, again, on occasions we've actually rushed him back. There's never been a time we've given him time enough. We haven't at any time given him the time enough to recover. So again, I think we should actually, think about you should actually consider that. us not giving him time enough to recover fully. We're almost in a hurry to bring him back in because of how important he is to the team. So we should consider that without Kante and with Kante knowing how we perform. Yeah, the difference, the disparity in the performances when he's in the team and when he's in the team, speak volume. So I hope we go in for a DM in January. That will only happen. That only comes down to how well Dennis Zakaria does. If he does well, again, for how much again? Was it 30 million euros, which comes down to around 25 or so. I'm not sure the exact amount, but it would be less 20. It would be 20 million plus in pounds. If he does well, if he put in, the performance, I've seen him put in. If he shows that quality again, and it stays fit, I don't think the club will still go for a DM in the market in January. I think it's good enough, to stay in the club for a long while, but it all depends. I think the club will monitor to see if his injury comes back and how well he does. And be rest assured, if he does well, I think he'd keep that position. Kante has to go. Again, he is finished. We're not a charity. Here's the thing: the way you deal with players, define your reputation as a club. And players do consider these things when they talk with clubs who want to sign them. That they say, okay, what happens to me when I get to a certain age? And then they pay attention to what you've done to the likes of N'Golo Kante, or maybe other players. If it becomes a trend, if it becomes again a pattern, you'd have issues convincing players to come to you. So those things come into play. Again, in Kante's case, he served the club so well. Again, if you treat him that way, again, it won't go down. Again, it won't treat you kind in history in the future. History won't treat you kindly in the future because people will take note of that. Players, especially, to be honest. Yes, people keep liking the video. We're at 19 likes at the moment. We can do better than that. So let me bring in AD for love again. AD, love for blue. How are you doing, brother? I hope you're well.
I'm okay, brother. Big up, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that one. And thank you for finding the time to join. Let me bring you in straight away. I think it's important. Let's talk about Thiago Silva before I bring you up to par with us with other topics. Not too many things that we've talked about. Thiago Silva at 38. If you see him play, you think he's 28. If you don't know his age, and today he turns 38 today. Do you have anything to say about this man on the screen? What a special player he is! And do you think how long do you think the club should try to keep him, even if it's not as a player, maybe in another capacity, such as one of the as a mentor, maybe in a capacity of a mentor, or maybe a coaching staff. He has that pedigree to always impact winning mentality on the younger players, if you want to say it that way. Your thoughts on this player?
Yeah, I want to join everyone in wishing him happy birthday. A wonderful pro, a leader, a role model. I mean, he's someone that most of the young lads should look up to. There are very few footballers like him, keeping themselves so fit. I mean, if you look at him taking the age out of it, just as you alluded to, no one will actually believe he's 38. He doesn't look 38, apart from the niggling injury and strain and everything which is normal with the age. But the way he's kept himself, you think sometimes in my head when I say Chelsea's lineup, I forget sometimes that he's 38. I want to always include him in every lineup, but unfortunately, age will not allow us to have him. If Thiago Silva was younger than he is, Thiago Silva definitely will be in whatever system we want to play, be it 4-3-3, be it 3 at the back, whatever, Thiago Silva should feature. So he's a really good leader, and the love he has for Chelsea now, even from the family, we can see. So obviously, the club will really, really tap into his experience and offer him a role in the club going forward. And I think the club is fit to play. They should be offering him, even if it's a yearly contract, should keep him as long as he is with the club.
Even if he's done playing, keep him in a coach that is in a coaching capacity. I think it's still, it's. I mean, his continuous stay at the club is invaluable.
Invaluable, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the word.
While I'm still with you, AD, can you tell us how do you think he's able to do this? 38.
I don't know much about his plan.
Yeah, usually it's midfielders who are able, to play this long, where they don't have to run that much in most cases. It depends again, but in a defensive role, I think for me it's his intelligence. It's his intelligence because to him it's not about power, it's not about pace. It's just his intelligence and his, technical abilities. But go ahead, you were saying something.
Yeah, you see. I think you see this more with these Brazilians. They tend, if you want to see those of them who play long time, like Cafu, Roberto Carlos, most of them, I think they keep themselves well. I don't know what it is. Maybe because it's the way they were brought up. They don't play the physical type of game. They play the possession game. Keep the ball. Don't stress yourself too much. Do the basics, and maybe that helps
let
their
the
body.
ball do the running.
Let the ball do the running, not you being too energetic, too physical with the ball and everything. They tell on them. And then this other, I forgot what's his name, Dani Alves as well. You can see Dani Alves is still playing.
Yeah.
So you look at them, so you wonder maybe it's something to do with them, and we don't know how they keep themselves, how their private life is, because it has to do with the way you keep your private life as well, what you do with your body, how you keep yourself in shape. I mean, generally, how you keep your body. That's what he is. So I don't know. I think it has to do with them, and I don't know. Maybe most of them, the young lads coming, should try to borrow a leaf from them and see how do they do it, and then try to look into the way they do it, and then try to imitate them, kind of.
Yeah, again, what a player he is, and again, I hope we'll keep him, even if he stops playing, we can still have him around, again, to mentor the younger ones. Again, he's an exemplary professional. I haven't tell me if I haven't heard about any scandals, that is involved in that, which is very common with big name players, or players who's played as long as he's played. I think it's different. Again, like you said, I think it's to him on the pitch, it's not about power. Again, his biggest asset is his intelligence. I know what one weakness he has, but I'm not going to talk about it. I take him in, and yeah, I can do with that weakness. But what a player he is. As far as I know, Silva wants to finish playing at home, so it might be very hard, to convince him to stay. Again, we could, iron out an agreement. Okay, go finish your career. That's very common with Brazilians, by the way, at home, again, in Brazil. And then when you're done, come join us. Maybe, again, he has that pedigree that if he starts, if he just takes a course or two, he will become, you can say, one of the best sporting directors in world football. Because if he picks up the phone and calls you and say, this is Thiago Silva talking, you'd listen. And so he has, even in a coaching capacity, I'd take him. Invent a role. To me, for gosh sake, invent a role and keep him as a mentor in the team, defensive mentor or defensive trainer. Again, it makes a whole lot of difference. It will make a whole lot of difference. Daniel, your thoughts before I go back to AD or to bring them up to par with all the topics we've talked about. So soon we'll go into the exercise of picking the 11 when it's a 4-3-3 structure.
Yeah, happy birthday to Thiago Silva. He's a top legend. With his body, Eddie and coach, what it is, he has. I think he must drink a thing called IBF. It's an IBF protein fitness drink. It helps the body to manipulate like a 20 to up to a 30-year-old kid. That's why it's probably what he's using for the body situation for his physical. To be the way he could play, at age of 38, to be world class. With Thiago Silva, he has.
Then go out and come back. Your audio is acting up again.
Is it? Is it playing up again?
Yeah,
Oh, it's just
that's
my
the clicking. The clicking sound. Yeah.
I'll be 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Okay. Again, the DO position will be the best for the club to give him. Yep. Again, like I say, take a course or two. Again, and then remain. Again, I think it will be even more better if the process is seamless. Find an agreement. Don't let him even go back to Brazil. Just if you once you're done, continue here. But I think because he will most likely go back to Brazil because I sense that the club again, at a point will stop offering him those extensions. And again, it's more of a tradition for Brazilians to finish their career in Brazil. But let's see again what happens. I'd like if he becomes an exception and he stays at the club, even stop playing and then switches role to a DOL or mentor again or defensive coach. I'd love that. So Daniel, go ahead with your thoughts so I can bring in Bobby.
Yeah, am I sound better now, Coach? I'm not breaking up now, no?
It sounds better.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, what I was just saying, like with Thiago Silva for his age of 38, like with Dani Alves, and Cafu, and you've got some other you still got Oscar playing at age of 35, still playing in Shanghai, and people still doesn't know that Ronaldinho's still playing at his age, from like age like nearly 40. What it is, it must be the Brazilian talent what they've got in their body system. Well, like I say, because I know because when I used to be a professional football player, we used to have these healthy healthy drinks where we had this IPF, and protein sports drink, and the body and then body vitamin like tablets to where we go to the gym. What we had to do with our football fitness, and the way his body with Thiago Silva, it's just unreal how he still got the fitness and the physically what he does on the pitch at that age. And I think if it comes to with Chelsea because after I think he could have another year playing for us as a centre back for another season, the way he is, because it's like his body's it's not like reacting like a 38. It's like he's reacting like a 25 to a 26-year-old kid. And the way he is, and I feel hopefully once he retires the football after a certain age, he could stay at Chelsea and help the young centre backs to be the world class like what he used to be, because he's another predator. Like I said, like with Kante, he's another predator. And
before I go to you said he used to be. He's still world class. He's actually gotten better. For me, for me, he ages like fine wine. The older he gets, the better he becomes. Again, experience is everything. As long as you're able to take care of your body to carry you while you're on the pitch, if you have the intelligence, if you have, the vision, if you have the technical ability, as long as you're able to take care of your body well enough to carry you, you perform miracles. I think that the most important is that he's able to take care of his body. And then again, to him, it's not about power. It's about intelligence. I'm going to go to Bob. Before I do that, please, again, keep liking the video. We have 23 likes already. Let's try and get it to 100 likes by the time we get to 1 hour mark. Thank you so much for all the love. Again, it says Daniel was pro. Yeah, again, for what team? Okay, but that's by the way. Bobby, how are you doing, brother?
Brentford Football Club I used to play for.
Okay.
I was 18, 19.
Yeah, he didn't see you on TV. That's probably why he didn't believe it. Okay, Bobby, how are you doing, bro? I usually takes a bit of time for him to unmute because he's using his device. Oh, brilliant, and thank you, Bobby. Again, Bobby, before we go into other copies, 2-3 topics we have lined up, I want to get your thoughts on this man on the screen. It's his birthday. Again, your thoughts on his Chelsea career so far, and anything you want to say about him, just go ahead.
Well, I mean, Thiago Silva is an incredible player. as far as I'm concerned, I think he should be one of the Ballon d'Or nominees, or indeed win the Ballon d'Or. He's a player that is not given the accolades and respect that he deserves, mainly because he hasn't really been with the sort of media-driven clubs, and and he's always been with clubs that, though they were very good clubs, they're not as present in the media as some others. However, having said that, I mean, he's an extraordinary player. The thing about the cycle of these players is that unfortunately there comes a time where you have to draw a line under it. Someone like Thiago, it's quite clear he wants to go back to Brazil. Will he come back in some capacity in the club? Yeah, it's possible. Depends on the deal that's put before him. But it's quite clear that he's very much a sort of family man. And I would suspect that when, towards the tail end of his career, I can see that, and please, I'm not speaking for him, but I can see him wanting to go back to Brazil. I think that's just how it is with
and I think you make good sense there. Sorry for cutting in. After all those travel from Russia, I think from after Russia, when he had that health issue, he had to go back to Brazil, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But again, still quite a lot of travel. AC Milan, again, to PSG, to Chelsea. I think after, when he retires, yeah, I think you're very correct. He probably would like to take a bit of a break from football, spend a lot of time with his family, and then before anything else. But go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, that's it. I can't speak highly enough of him, especially as a player that I didn't want when we were linked with him back then. I felt he was too old, and I'm very happy to say, I'm proud to say that he's one person that really proved me wrong, which is all you can wish for in a player when you doubt them and they show you that they are really still up to it. What can I say? I don't know if giving him an extended contract is the answer for him, unless that's what he wants. I think Thiago Silva has earned the right to get what he wants. If he asks the club that he wants to stay another year, then yes, but he will understand that his playing time should be limited. If it's not, then the club is doing something terribly wrong. Just like Kante. Kante is another one.
Good. Can you go ahead and talk about the case of Kante? Shouldn't we, because you can say Kante, he falls into that category of players such as Luka Modric, players, you can't find another player in the whole world that you could say, matches him, attribute for attribute. So why not find a way to manage that, his situation and his game time and everything, and get the best out of him? And you could argue the injury, that he's injury prone. It's because we've used him, more than we should use him. Rush him back whenever he's recovering from an injury and not wait for him to recover fully. And now we want to ditch him. Again, I'm concerned about the reputation of the club, because players do pay attention to how we treat players. If we're letting them go and making it open to the whole world, like I've said before, as much as I love Thomas Tuchel, I hated it that he openly talked about N'Golo Kante's injuries. But go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it like that we're ditching him. I don't think so. I mean, Kante is, I believe, the highest paid player in the club still. So it's not that the club doesn't appreciate him. He's so good and so invaluable to any team he plays in that coaches will overplay him. And I don't think anybody has overplayed him more than Didier Deschamps in the French national team, who continues to field him even in very unnecessary games where he should be looking to play younger players. So Kante is a victim of his own ability and the laziness of some coaches. What I want to see with Kante is I would be more than happy if the club offer him the 3+1 that he's looking for instead of the 2+1. But they must be very, very prepared to manage him. This temptation to play him every game because he comes on in one game and shows his world-class capabilities, and then you want it over and over and over and over again, is it has to be arrested. It has to stop. I personally don't really want to see him on the pitch until, if he's fit, the Milan game. I think Milan home and away is the kind of thing that he should be playing in. But all these other games, games like Spurs, maybe that was a suitable game. But I think his injury was exacerbated by the guy, I don't know his name, the number 5, their defender or midfielder, raked his studs down the back of Kante's thigh. I think that triggered off everything in this episode. And the whole sort of brutality of the English game is something that if I were coach, I would limit him. I would select certain games, maybe get him into high-profile games, manage the odd lesser-profile games as a warm-up. You just have to manage him, bringing him off the bench and let him know that, because for a player that is so used to such high work rate, he won't be happy being used as a bit part player. But if you explain to him and get him to understand that this is to elongate his career, I think he'll be accepting of it.
Yeah, he will. He will indeed. Let me just catch up with a few things, a few contributions we have in the chat, and now come to AD. Very well put. Again, I hope they find a solution. Again, he's that player that even if it were up to me, even if he gets to play just 20 games per season, 26 games per season, I'd still keep him. He's that important. That makes a whole lot of difference. Again, Silva. Again, let me just bring up this picture here. Silva is a top 3 centre back in the world, so it is ridiculous to suggest that his playtime should ever be in question because of his age. If that is backward thinking, again, that's not surprising to me. Again, we've seen managers fail them even when you think, okay, he gets a rest today, and boom, he's on the pitch. That's how, again, he doesn't play. He doesn't, you could say, exert so much energy whenever he plays. Again, he plays. The way even him not playing is just because you just don't want him to get injured, risk injuries, and when you have a much stronger opponent to play in a later date than the day in question. That's the only reason why you can argue managers rest him. Again, McFire was a right winger who molded him into a DM. So Kante can definitely also change his play style to last longer in the game. Exactly, which is what again we've all called for. Just find a way to manage him. He falls into that category of special players that you don't just let them, keep them out of the team because of their age. You find a way to accommodate them, just as like Carlo has shown with Luka Modric. Again, and all the players he has in his team. Makalele was yeah. Thank you very much for that. AD, coming to you, your thoughts on the Kante situation, and if you want to start by thinking again, I've talked about this. It's of no use actually, trying to talk about what he discussed with Potter. I think Potter at most will discuss the importance of N'Golo Kante to his team, where again how he plans on using him. I don't think anything regarding his wage will come into play. Again, the only time Potter can influence what the club does with regards with his wages, Potter's conversation with Todd Boehly, where he tells him, "Look, we have to keep this guy. He's going to help us do even better." That's when Potter's decision can influence. Again, Kante's can influence whatever the club will agree with the players camp on his wages. But your thoughts on the Kante situation, AD?
Yeah, on Kante, we touched on it the other day, and we talked about how valuable he is to the club. He's
Yeah,
a good, he's a
we're
real
just talking
good
about him now since he has emerged that Graham Potter had a very long meeting with him. Some people would just jump to the conclusion they probably discussed his wage. I don't think they did, but go ahead.
No, I don't think they'll discuss about his contract or his wage. It's not for Potter to discuss. Potter would have discussed about his role in the team and what he sees.
Mm.
Just as he said when I was reading, he said they might be using him in a double pivot role. So, and then if we see the way he is, he will be down to the contract situation. Whoever there has to be a compromise, either from his own side or the club agrees to what he wants. So it'll be down to the parties to agree. He wants 3+1. Club offers 2+1. So we don't know what's going to happen. We just have to wait. But I think he's still very relevant. He's an important player in the team. He's an important player as well. He's one of the players that we cannot really. If you put up a poll there, I don't really see many real Chelsea fans that will say Kante should go. It'd be very surprising to see anybody that will say Kante should go. But they need to use him sparingly, intelligently, know when to play him, manage him properly to get the best out of him. Let him not do those runs that he's used. I mean, he's getting old as well. He's put in a lot of miles, So they just have to use him intelligently. Maybe let him sit more, let the other. So that's why I tell you, Jorginho is not helping Kante. He does too much when he plays along Jorginho. We need legs around Kante so that he reduces the rate at which he covers ground on the pitch. So that will help us to use him long time, and then we see him playing longer. And then the injuries will just maybe, and then as we know, these American owners and all, they know maybe they send him to specialists to check, and then the report as well from the kind of injury and how it's going to be managed would also play a part in what the contract discussions will be. So whatever advice they get from the medical team will play a long part in what they offer him.
While I'm still with you, Eddie, again, we've talked about, it sounds easy. It's easier said than done. Him adapting his game. How difficult do you think? Again, you can say in the case of Luka Modric, you can say he doesn't run much from time. Even in his younger days, he doesn't run too much. Again, everything comes down to his passing ability, his vision as a player, something as Eriksen. Eriksen isn't that old. But in the case of Luka Modric, he doesn't run that much, even when in his 20s. In the case of Kante, again, his pace, his running, that engine in him, you can say, defines the way he plays. So how, again, do you think it'd be easy for him as an individual? Yes, you say, okay, let the manager use him sparingly, strategically, only in big games, or maybe whatever necessary. If we can do without him, leave him on the bench. But he himself, how easy or how difficult do you think it'd be for him to adapt his game? It doesn't look like he's doing that.
Yeah, you're very correct.
Yeah,
you're correct. Yeah, he's not that type of player that manages himself. He sees himself as he can run and run and run and not get tired. He's the kind of player, he doesn't. He loves that's part of his identity. That's what he's made of. That's his logo, kind of. That's what his trademark is. To say this is what he does on the pitch, covering ground and then helping other people, helping other players, making sure he covers the ground as much as he can. But it will come to certain things. He will be part of the discussion as well. They'll tell him it will be hard. I understand the angle you're coming from. It will be hard to take that away from his game because he's more or less like as if you want to choke him. You know what I mean? You want to. You will look as if we're not going to see the best of him on the pitch. But he will know when this injury keeps reoccurring, when it keeps coming, he will know that he has to take it easy. There's no way he can do what he's doing from age of 24 to now. The way he's been playing from then, age is catching up now this time. So he needs to understand that he will have to adapt, do the little bit of running the games. That's why we need to manage the games. Maybe games that we feel, okay, it's the big games. Obviously, you cannot expect Kante not to run in the big games because that is where we need him in the big games. So Kante is not the one we play in the small games. So Kante will be a big game player that will need to bring in big games. So if he's playing in a big game, there's no way you can take that away from him. Say, Kante, reduce your running. He can't. It's just something that comes naturally to him. It's the way he is. So we just have to make sure they manage him properly. I don't know how to balance that. Now, it's a very tough one there.
Yeah, it's a tough one because the question is, again, it's one thing to play him sparingly, but the most important aspect of the whole thing is for the player himself, to evolve. Again, it's not that simple. And if you remember the example, again, I mentioned, Luka Modric, again, he doesn't run that much from time, even in his younger days, it doesn't run. If you talk about Pirlo and how long Pirlo played in his career, Pirlo from time, it doesn't run. He's never the one to run around. His intelligence and his passing ability define who he was as a player. Same thing as Luka Modric. His intelligence, his vision, his passing ability define his Luka Modric as a player. But quickly, let me catch up with the chat again. Yes, people, keep liking the video. We have 28 likes right now. We can do better than that. If you haven't, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Drop a Kante into the Makelele role. Can you define again the Makelele role? Elaborate a bit. I'd like to see your thoughts on how you define it. Again, Tibe Salifa says Kante has a elite defensive position, so he can play as a Matic again. DM. He just needs a strict coach to tell him to stick to one zone. Again, the Lord Kante DM experiment worked to a certain extent on the Lampard. But he has that tendency also because he's traditionally an 8. He's just stereotyped into, again, most people, if you ask most people, they tell you he's a 6. But he's able to fulfill that role because he has that engine in him, his ability to break up play, to read the game, be at the right place at the right time. The only thing that killed the Kante as a lone DM experiment under Lampard was our poor defensive structure. You could argue that again, but Dan, quickly, I want Bobby to talk, be the one to come in last on how, if he thinks Kante can actually adapt. Dan, your thoughts, take a minute and tell me if you think Kante will be able to adapt his game, or evolve if you want, or maybe change how he plays, considering his age. Because again, if he is always, if he leaves out that the most important thing of his game, that engine in him, because the running that he told, if he's fit enough for 90 minutes is one of the most important factors that define his game. How do you think he'd be able to adapt?
Yeah, of course he will. Because like I said, he's a predator. He's a predator off the pitch and on the pitch when he plays.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with his injury prone, like with Bobby came up like when playing with AC Milan, like the 2 games. I disagree. I think what they should do first, because his injury's been bad, I think they should warm him up in the under-23 squad and let him play games, time games on under the 23s, so he could get his fitness back into the games. Then proceeding to see how well he does with his fitness and to see how his injury goes in the under-23 squad, and if he's feeling much better in playing the games, then get back into the first team to play against like the Premier League side after the Champions League. Because if we do too much with Kante on the pitch with his ability, like what Bobby said, with like Jorginho doesn't help him out, and we need another player to help Kante out on the pitch. It's basically 2 facts on that one, because we do need Kante to be a realistic like a DM. Well, and he plays box to box. He can play attacking mid, but his position is in box to box, where he's defensive in the box. And the Kante you see is world class every year. When he plays for France, he does it. And yes, we played him so much. We've played him so much and ruled him out. But if we could get him into his back to his fitness and back to his mentality on the pitch the way he was before, he will do really well for us. But for the minute, I don't think he should play games. Yes, I know he's been out for how long now? It's like over a month. We should just allow him to play the under-23 games to get his warm-up fitness, and then see what Potter thinks about his fitness in them games and see how he well. Because you don't know, he could play a game in under 23s, and next minute his leg might play up on him again, and then we're back to square one. So we need to make sure he has regularly training sessions and get him back to his fitness. Then go to the under 23s and play some games there. And like I said before, coach, like the way if it's a really bad injury, like he should go to it, like fly out to America and get the physical people to test him with his injuries, get him sorted out by there, then fly back to England and get the games with the under 23s and see how he adapts playing on the pitch with the injuries. And if we have him on the pitch against AC Milan, we're going to go back to square one with Kante with his injuries, and he'll be out more longer than like Ben Chilwell did. And we don't want that. We need Kante in our team because he fries the team when he's on the pitch. He's like the captain of the team. He tells the team what to do on the pitch. And we ain't got another player like that. Like with Thiago Silva, he does it. And then only most two people who are captains on the pitch are really is Thiago Silva and Kante. He fries the team. He tells the team how to play on the pitch, and then when they play well when Kante's on the pitch. So we need his ability is like he's a predator. If we could get him on that pitch, and keep him fit for the whole season, we will do well. He will do well.
But I believe he will. Again, we have to manage his game time, and then again, just quickly, let me catch up with the chat. I'll bring in Bobby to answer that particular question. Now, big up coach and panel in chat says, Glenn, nice to see you here. I hope you're doing well, brother. Again, I says Makalele, John Obi role again to sit in front of the back four, disciplined. Again, those are actually in the case of Mikel, he can actually do more if he plays closer to the final third. So, but he usually, again, even if Bosingwa or anybody on the right hand side, Ivanovic, wanders forward, he usually drifts to the right to cover them. Even on the left hand side, again, disciplined, to sit in front of the back four as a traditional defensive CDM, not a regista or a deep line playmaker. I think that's a perfect way, again, to explain that. And thank you for finding the time to do that. Bobby, coming to you. Your thoughts, we've talked about, like I said, it's easier said than done. We've talked about, again, playing Kante sparingly, talked about managing his injuries, again, but it's important to recognize that what defines Kante as a player, things that define Kante as a player includes, more importantly, how much running he does whenever he's on the pitch. I'm not sure how that, again, how effective it still be if that changes. So my question to you is, do you think he'd be able to adapt himself? You there, Bobby? Okay, I'm going to try again. In case it doesn't come in, I'll go back to AD to start them with another question I have lined up here. AD.
Sometimes my mute button gets stuck.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sure. Do you want me to repeat the question? Or I'm sure you heard me.
Yes, please repeat the question.
Yeah, just again, in N'Golo Kante, we've talked about the club of playing him sparingly, managing his injury, and then not bringing him back into the team again whenever he recovers, giving time enough to recover fully. But we must remember that Kante as a player, things that define him as a player, that define the Kante we all want to see, is one of those things is more importantly the amount of running he does on the pitch. So without that, because him adapting his game to suit his age, it will most importantly include him running less. So I'm not sure how effective it still be if he runs less. In the end, but overall, do you think he'd be able to adapt his game? Because the whole thing isn't about the club playing him, managing his game time in his injury and all that. He has to also adapt the way he plays. If we look at Modric, he has never been, doesn't run that much from time. Pirlo doesn't run. All those players that played into their 40s don't run that much from time. So a lot would change once he starts running less. So your thoughts, do you think he'd be able to adapt his game?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? What we're saying is not an adaptation, it is a change. And I don't think so. I think N'Golo Kante is so good at what he does because of how he plays. If he slowed down or if he stopped running around, he will probably get injured even more because he's not physically capable to combat with some of the midfielders in the Premier League. What he does to make up for that lack of direct physicality, although as small as he is, he's quite strong. But what he does to make up for that is his speed, the fact that he's there, he gets the ball, interceptions, things like that. And I don't think you can adapt that, and I don't think that can change. I just think the only way is to manage it until such a time that he can't do it anymore. You see, this is the thing about in sport. I've always noticed these sportsmen and indeed women, but more so with the men, that use agility to excel in their sports. There's either a rapid curve to burnout, or there is an abrupt end to their career. I look at tennis, people like Rafael Nadal and so on, at his, when he was very young, Nadal became good because he was so agile across that court. And as he got older, especially after he had an injury and he had to work harder to regain his agility, he then dwindled. Even look at the goalkeeping situation. I'm keen on having Slonina in the Chelsea fold. And
Okay, the Chicago Fire goalkeeper.
Yeah, I hope he can do what we think he can do, because Kepa's game is built on agility, and the level of agility he needs to keep himself at the top, it's not really commensurate with a very long career at that level. So there's got to be an alternative. And if he gets injured, obviously that becomes hampered. So yeah, this is probably what the hesitation is in giving Kante a long contract of many years. It's the fact that his game will need to be managed and cannot be changed. And for how long will you be able to have him, even at a managed state, come on with that same level of high octane intensity that makes him who he is? Is it even fair to expect that of him? I know what my answer is to that. I would still give him 3 years. Even if you're wasting a year, you're more or less paying for the trophies he's going to give you and has given us almost single-handedly, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. But you're right. If he was to leave today, there'll be no end of clubs ready to sign him for 5 years. Trouble is quite unlikely that they would actually get 5 years of N'Golo Kante.
Yeah, but that may well be the case. Bobby, hold on, please, while I'm still with you again. Before I ask Bobby the next question, if you haven't, please take a second to like the video. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you for all the love. Bobby, this one here, I think you were one of the ones, I forgot, I think it was Roger who said he's probably experienced some PTSD from that, robbery at his place in Spain. We shouldn't have started him, but this comment from Aubameyang is telling. It's telling, which shows we actually did a Madrid. We just wanted him on the pitch, whether he's ready or not. We're paying you, just come and play. And that's dangerous. You could say, argue to the detriment of the team, because during that first game that he started, the moment Broja came in, Broja looked more sharp. Even the same thing in the second game. Here he says, Aubameyang, I need more time. I am not 100% fit. It's not easy to play with a mask and with an injury, but hopefully I will get 100% as soon as possible. This got me concerned. I think that was, you could say, reckless from maybe the manager or the club overall. I just don't understand. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, in some type of way, this is going to be a bit of an advantage of this international break, in that the road to fitness will be shortened without games and during this time for people like Aubameyang and indeed Kante. As I said back then, I think Aubameyang was played as a sort of reassurance to him that he will be played. I don't think Graham Potter had much time to think about his players.
Even Tuchel, especially, shouldn't have, played him.
Well, yes and no. It's a hard one. If he didn't play him, there will be questions coming out now, because nobody would know the extent of how this has affected him. I think it's good he played him. So he himself has now come out to confess that he actually needs to take his time, which has put Graham Potter in an advantage, especially with Broja finding a little bit of form. So I just think it's all fallen in place.
Eddie, what do you think?
I said it the other day. I said whenever we judge decisions taken by a manager, in hindsight, it's always easier to look at things because it didn't work out or it did work out, But on the day, I looked at it when the lineup came out. I wasn't too bothered about Aubameyang playing. But because we are fans, we don't see what happened in the training ground. I thought it was a decision that shouldn't have been taken. And I said it when I wrote about the club as well helping to cost the number 9 jersey. Because you easily know when a player is actually the manager's choice or he signed this player. It's easy for you to know. You know clearly, even though it was made known openly, the relationship between Aubameyang and Tuchel. But for me, looking back at that decision now, I think it was a wrong decision to have played him. But just as I said, it's easier in hindsight to criticize or to critique things when they didn't work out. If Aubameyang had played that day, if he had scored 2-3 goals, nobody would say nothing. So that's why we fans, we always try to look at these things and think what should have been or what happened and should that have been or not. But Tuchel knows why he played. But for me, for Broja's confidence, that wouldn't have helped him because Broja has been there training, looking up to that game, thinking, oh, if the deal did not happen, obviously it was going to be Broja starting. And everybody will agree to that when Broja came on, he did even better. And then going ahead again to playing again the second game against Salzburg is another decision that I think, even though he had more time, but I said it, he alluded to it now that playing with the mask and the injury, he wasn't fit. And that should have been the decision of the player and the manager. Are you fit enough? He says, yes, I am fit enough. Or no, I don't think I'm ready. Give me time. But looking forward to saying, oh, I want to see you play, he was thrown into the game. And because if we remember when we lost, when Thibaut Courtois left the club, we signed Kepa, and straight away that same week, he featured as the goalkeeper. I've forgotten the game. That was his first outing. We were like, stop, no goalkeeper. So Kepa was signed, and immediately, but that's it's a goalkeeping role. That's different. I mean, goalkeepers are like, their role is not that difficult to say, oh, this one will fit in straight away. But a striker coming in, you need to understand the players around you, how they play and all. So, but what I say, I still stand on that. It's easy to look at things when they don't actually work out the way the manager would have looked at it. And then we think, oh, it shouldn't have been or it should have been. So we just stand by what has happened and is gone. But now this player is coming out to say he is not 100% fit. So did he say this to Tuchel when he was asked, are you fit enough to play? Nobody knows what would have transpired.
Yeah, again, I was surprised. I didn't expect him to start that game. Already before time, we heard he would be out for like a month or something, close to a month. Surprisingly, we saw him on the pitch, but I'm still going to say this. I'm still going to say this. He was, again, on the pitch that day, but you could see that wasn't Aubameyang I know. I followed him from Dortmund to Arsenal to Barcelona, and now what I saw that it wasn't Aubameyang. Again, I saw those times that I've watched his games. Again, he looked off. Balls that he got to on his day that you see him put away, he didn't actually. But that's, by the way, IBZ, your thoughts on the comment from Aubameyang, which shows, again, this to me just showed he wasn't actually ready, especially when Tuchel started him. Even in the second game, you could see something isn't, quite clicking or something. It seemed a bit off. And by the way, first of all, welcome to the panel, bro. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for finding the time to join.
Big up, everyone.
A big up to you too, brother.
Yeah, big up to you, IBZ. Boy.
Yeah.
Good morning.
When I saw it, I was thinking, yeah, normal. I mean, I don't think he was ready. I'm thinking, yeah, he'll be out for like 3 weeks, like reports said when he joined. So I'm not surprised about this. I was even surprised that he actually started, or he played that Zagreb game, because I thought he weren't ready. I thought he was going to train by himself then for a week, then train with the first team, then ease his way back in. So he clearly wasn't ready. So it just feels like this is a normal statement to make. I believe he'll be ready. I believe he'll be fit. What we can make of it is that it says he's not 100%. And we just hope, we hope now with the break we're having until the 1st of October that he will gain fitness and training, and he'll be ready to start firing. I saw he wasn't a bit sharp against Zagreb. Against Salzburg, he looked a little bit more sharper. So I can only imagine with more training and game time, you'll see Aubameyang get to his goal scoring ability form. I'm not worried at all. I think it's pretty normal for a player to come out and just say, look, I'm not 100% guys, this thing on my face is not really helping me, So I can only wish him the best. Hope he gets back to recovery properly. He's a happy guy, and I wish him well.
Yeah, again, thank you very much for that. I appreciate you taking the time to say that. Again, I think it's about time we get into the lineup building exercise. Let me see if there's any other update to talk about. If you're in the chat, if you're on the panel and any update you have, something you want us to talk about, you can go ahead and bring it up. Otherwise, we will go into the lineup building exercise. Let me see, still checking. I haven't seen anything new. So let's get into it. And AD, I'm going to start with you, AD. Again, in a 4-3-3 structure, which you could argue, I think he plays that sometimes. I haven't seen much of it from him, which you could argue, again, gives those players in the team that are traditionally wingers the opportunity to play in what they call their preferred position. Since they are specialty players, if you want to phrase it that way, such as Hakim Ziyech and Christian Pulisic gets a chance to start. We start from the goalkeeping position again. It's a difficult one. Mendy is injured. He hasn't agreed. He rejected the new contract offer, and we haven't heard whether the club are still trying to get him to accept a new offer. I don't know. There's no clarity on what transpired, what led to him rejecting the new contract, whether he feels like they're undervaluing him or something like that. Your thoughts, the goalkeeping position going forward into the season, what do you think happens? Because as it is right now, Mendy, he's also returned to Chelsea from the Senegal national team camp with a knee injury, a minor knee injury, they say. And again, the reports talks are that he probably recover fully. He'd probably be available to start the game against Crystal Palace, but I doubt that because Kepa, since again he's stood between the sticks, he's done quite well enough. You could say probably Potter will say, okay, you stay there, you haven't done anything wrong. The goalkeeping position, what do you think will happen going into the season? You think Kepa remains there? Do you think Mendy comes back in and takes that number one position?
Yeah, I think we're in a position now where we have two quality goalkeepers, no doubt about that, where one is stronger in one area and the other stronger in another area. So if you look at both of them, I don't mind anyone at this point playing, but based on what has happened, Kepa has done well. He hasn't, we cannot actually fault anything so far. He hasn't played a lot of games, but I don't know. I tell you, it's a very tight one. It's a toss of coin for me, for as it stands now, because the people will say Mendy has the height, Kepa has got better feet on the ball. So it's down to the managers and the club. So, but for me, wow, it's I say the next game, I say Kepa for sure because Mendy is not fit. But going forward, we just take it maybe after that game against Crystal Palace, then we look at Kepa and then take it from there. So it's a hard one to call for me though.
It is a difficult one indeed, and there's no telling what Graham Potter would do. The argument out there has always been Kepa, given that he's better with his feet. That's not me. I think Mendy also is good with his feet. We must remember that something seemed off since that West Ham United game, and it doesn't look like he's quite recovered from it. If you paid attention, again, like my argument after 6 games, I think 4 games after that West Ham United game was that again he's averaging a single mistake per game. When we're lucky, a few of them didn't lead to goal. I don't know if it's a confidence thing. You could argue he doesn't command his box again as he should, given he's a tall individual and all that. Again, some argue, but I don't know what. There's no telling what Graham Potter would do. But as things stand right now, Kepa has stood between the stick and it's done quite well. You could say he hasn't put a foot wrong. The goal he's considered, you could argue, wasn't his fault. I don't know. Yeah, it's a difficult one indeed. Dan, your thoughts on the goalkeeping position? Who do you think will be will be the number one going forward into the season?
If Mendy's injured, how long is he out for? We're not sure.
No, we're told he'd recover before the Crystal Palace game. But I think was he on the bench in a Champions League game? Was he on the bench or wasn't he? I don't remember. But I'll check. Go ahead.
I don't think he was on the bench, coach. It wasn't.
It wasn't. So you could argue then the reason you could just say the reason Kepa Arrizabalaga started was because Mendy wasn't ready. But go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, Mendy wasn't there at the Champions League game, coach. So it was Kepa who started. If Mendy could recover from his injury till before Crystal Palace, I think Potter would start playing Mendy over Kepa. Because I'll tell you why he'll play Mendy over Kepa, because have you seen the states on Potter, like when he first came to the club, he looked the lightest of Mendy, how he played in the goalkeeper role last season for Chelsea, and I know Kepa's like getting so much frustrated with the situation with the club and that, and he wants to show himself that he can adapt to the first team football, and he wants to prove himself that he wants to be back to his best at Chelsea, to be the first goalkeeper, Kepa. But if it's Mendy and Kepa, they have to fight between themselves who's going to start regularly first team football, because actually though all goalkeepers start to express themselves to the coach, and the way you see Kepa been on the pitch to the last 2 games, but since he's played when Mendy hasn't been on, had played with the injuries, he's done well. Again with Potter, the mistake with the goal, you can't hush that on him. But it's Mendy actually fit enough and actually physically enough to start in goals, because the way he started the first in the season, he was sluggish, he was slacking, and he looks like he was overtired. So you never know, Potter might play Kepa and let Mendy have a rest for like a few games at Chelsea, and let see how go from there. Or Potter might just change to change. Let Kepa have 1 game, then Mendy in the next game, and see who's better, who's got the gist of being the first goalkeeper of this season, just start of this for the end of the season. That's what I think Potter should do. But it's a hard one. But as you know, Mendy's always been our #1 goalkeeper since last year, where Kepa's always been on the bench. So if Potter sees, Mendy's been #1 goalkeeper since last season at Chelsea, he might play Mendy over Kepa. But you never know. You never know. We might be shocked. We might be shocked. He might play Kepa instead this season over Mendy. But it's a tricky one. But my gut should be Mendy.
The argument Bobby made the day we started this whole thing. The predicted lineup exercise is that, again, it's a clean slate for everybody. But
Mendy.
From what you could argue, what Potter is saying at this point, he'll probably stick with Kepa. Kepa looked more confident than again that Mendy has looked in the games he's played. Again, he lacked confidence. Something seemed off in his game. Like, I think it was Gopo who on the panel the other day argued that Mendy came to Chelsea hungry. And after winning those things, it looked as if he's lost that hunger. But it's easy, actually. If you're not paying attention, it's easy to look beyond his mistakes, because every now and then you start complaining that he's made a mistake in the game, and boom, he pulls off 2 brilliant saves. And again, we forget about the mistakes. Yes. But we'll see what happens. We don't know what Potter will do. We'll see what happens here. Let me see. Here we have, hopefully, Slonina can use his legs. Watching Kepa concede goals he could have easily saved. It's just annoying, just because he's better playing out than Mendy isn't enough to be Chelsea standard. I mean, that's a good enough argument. Again, he's good with his feet, but how about other aspect of the whole thing that defines a good goalkeeper? But that's not some. I'm not a goalkeeping expert, so I don't want to get into that. But the thing that annoys me the most about Mendy is he's lost. It looks, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's lost confidence. He doesn't command his area as he should, given his height and everything. The goal in the first Champions League was Kepa's fault. He didn't trust his defender and rush out too early, opening up the far angle. Again, the second game, he could have saved that with his legs. He couldn't decide. You could say that Champions League game, I think it deflected off I think Cesar Azpilicueta or who. So that alone makes it difficult for him to stop that. But again, I get your argument. Bobby, if you're still there, the goalkeeping department, it's a difficult one to call. We're not sure what Potter is going to do. So I'm just going to wait for what those in the chart, what they decide. Usually they have a good enough sample size. Again, no matter, we could talk here from now to tomorrow. By the time I check what we have, the poll, again, it says otherwise. But Bobby, your thoughts on the goalkeeping position, what do you think will happen?
I think the goalkeeping position is something that you have to be very, very single-minded on as a coach. And you make your decision. Your decision should be based on form, and there shouldn't be sentiment. And once you declare your #1, you persist with the #1 unless they show such bad form as the #2 should then have the opportunity to take over. This is just in my opinion. Now, at this moment in time, I know that Graham Potter has just got here, and he hasn't directly been involved with these goalkeepers. But at this moment in time, Kepa is definitely ahead of Mendy. I would have Kepa ahead of Mendy and wait for Slonina to come in. That level of competition should, if Mendy is, is somebody that has pride, it should galvanize him to better performances. If it doesn't, then he has a problem. He may have a problem of overconfidence. He may think he's arrived, which is a strange thing because winners keep winning. I mean, people like Dino Zoff, who was a goalkeeper for many, many years for Italy. The best goalkeepers just keep going on and on and on. Even our Petr Cech continued for a long time, and you can't get enough of winning, and you can't get enough of being the best. So I think his recent forms has warranted that. The costly errors has warranted that, and it's up to him to improve and win back his spot. To me, it's that simple. If he's going to sulk and he's going to complain about his contract, fine, it is what it is. If you want a better contract than Kepa, then prove you're worth it. And don't say, oh, I was in goal when we won the Champions League. Yes, I mean, to be fair, he has done a lot of things. He has, pulled off some excellent saves as well. But so has Kepa. This is the thing. So Potter is going to have to be strong here. It's a dilemma. It's a big dilemma. But to me, that's how I would handle it. The thing about these things is that if it goes wrong, the Chelsea fan base, they'll all jump on you and blame you. But that has to be handled that way, because the ultimate thing about this is that after the Thibaut Courtois situation, I don't think we can afford to allow Slonina to go away from the club for a long time. I think if he's showing signs of being good enough, he has to come into the goalkeeping fold and start threatening the other two seriously.
Let me ask you this, Bobby, while I'm still with you. The fact that he rejected the contract the club offered to him, do you think it's a sign that the club don't value him that much and probably looking to change things around?
It's money, isn't it? I think it's a sign that the club think that Kepa was being paid too much, which he probably was, and they're trying to arrest the situation. And
arrest the situation by offering a much less salary or something not close to that again to Mendy.
Yeah, they're trying to cap the ink. They can't do anything about what Kepa earns, but they can do something about what Mendy earns. And Mendy, yes, he's been valuable, but after that first year, he hasn't been so great. Yes, he's carried out some saves here and there, but that's his job. He's got to save something. I'm with the club on this. You want that sort of money, then show us that you're really worth that sort of money, and you're not just a one-season wonder. That's a lot of money. What is it? 180 thereabouts a week. It's a lot of money for a goalkeeper. That's my opinion. And is he that invaluable? If Mendy left today, would you feel it's so damaging to the club?
I would. Again, it's like we've established. I think it's a difficult one to call, and plus we do not know what Potter would do. But go ahead.
I don't think he's made himself invaluable. I remember when for example, when Cech was leaving, it was of concern. It's just that Courtois was just that little. Well, he was younger, so we knew he would last longer. And I can't even say he was even better. He was just marginally better, but it wasn't really that notable. So Cech's leaving was, caused some concern. Mendy, I'm not sure it would, especially if there's another person, waiting in the wings. I think he still has a little bit to prove. You know, he may not want to admit that, but I think he has. And I think the only reason he hasn't signed the contract is quite simply money. That's all. He wants more money.
Yeah, again, it's a difficult one. Again, I'm gonna catch up with what we have in the chat to come back to Eddie to get to IBZ to get his thoughts on the situation again. And I'm waiting for the poll to get enough sample size. 20 is enough, but I want to get IBZ's thoughts first. So let me see what we have in the chat. Big up, Kachila says, the queen of the house. Big up to you too. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for finding the time to join to help keep things civil. And big up to Chama Joseph Darwin, another queen of the house. Thank you for finding the time to join us. I know you're probably at work today, but decided to join. Again, Mendy has made errors after errors, but in some people's eyes, it can do no wrong. Kepa Dina trusts his defender. So remind me, okay, again, this maybe you're having a conversation with somebody because I'm sure nobody on the panel said that. Again, hi everyone in the chat. And here, Chama Yusuf says it's normal for players to have bad patches. Kepa was there too, and now it's Mendy's turn. Let me ask you this question, Chama. The truth remains, I don't remember Kepa Arrizabalaga making so many mistakes. Again, averaging a single mistake per game in a lot of games. Mendy started after the West Ham game, and this is I have to be honest. Before people say it's a campaign against Mendy, like they said, like they did say when we was and Matt Zivo saying he needs to be dropped for his own sake. For him to understand, again, yeah, it's not his place for keeps. He has to, again, be disciplined to a certain measure. It helps him because it's a human thing that when you think something is yours for keeps, again, when you think no matter what happens, something is yours, you take it for granted. And you could argue that was the case then, given everything I hate going into how he returned from AFCON and boom, displaced Kepa Arrizabalaga, who stood between the sticks in his absence for, I think, how many league games, plus the semifinals of the Club World Cup and all that. Again, those things you could say can get into a human being's head. But again, I think has gone longer than that of Kepa Arrizabalaga. Yes, I get it. Nobody is perfect. We'll see that even the best goalkeepers in the world. Alisson, we've seen some howlers from Alisson, some howlers from Edson of Manchester City. Even Manuel Neuer, we've seen some howlers from him. But they again, you could argue those things, for them, it happens in patches. There's never been a time where you could say in consecutive games, you keep seeing one mistake or the other, which shows that they lack confidence or something like that. Again, goodness, and what you could say is give Aubameyang some time. He's a proper baller, but for now, give it to Broya. I agree with you. And again, let me just show you this quickly. Aubameyang himself, he's asked that he'd be given time. You see that? I need more time, he says there. So yeah, that's no surprise. We thought he'd stay out of the team for at least a month, given what we heard he went through. But that's by the way, again, how do we know again how far behind the salary Mendy has been? Again, we don't know. I don't know. If anybody knows, there's a chance. Again, there are insiders. There's a chance some people know. Everyone forget that Mendy was brought in as a temporary solution until we found a number one, just like Havertz. Again, he's leaving of UEFA Champions League credit. Not just the UEFA Champions League, again, up to the final, you can argue he did quite well. He was brilliant. There was a time you could argue he was his performances, his overall performance was immaculate. Something is off. Maybe again that sense of that maybe you could say he started thinking that he was indispensable, or like somebody argued on the panel, he came again with hunger. And because he's won the Champions League, the Club World Cup, and the Super Cup, he's lost that hunger. That's the chance that's the case. That's the chance the whole thing falls on Tuchel. When you sense that the player lacks confidence, he's making a series of mistakes, drop him for his own good. Like Nick Blue argued here when we started talking about that. But I get your argument. And more importantly, bro, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for finding the time to join the conversation. John Potts Entertainment here says, good morning. Everyone, please again remember to like and share. They said, "Yep, like and share." And again, thank you very much for saying that. Complacency, maybe that was the word I was looking for. Thank you very much for saying that. That's the problem. There's a chance that was the case. AD, let's talk about Mendy's form a bit. Why we see again if we can get more vote from those in the chat regarding who they think should be the number one, at least let's just say for now or going into the season. Do you think Mendy's issue was down? You could say it was a complacency. He thought again the goalkeeping position was this for Kips.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, complacency crept in for him because he looked at his because we brought in Mendy and he established himself very well. If you go back to the first season when he came, he was unbeatable. Couldn't concede a goal. He commanded his box very well because my son supports Manchester United. So each time when we're playing against United and we're watching, he was always giving out. Oh, you don't cross the ball into the box for Mendy. You're not going to beat him. He commands the box. That's not the way to... You know, he was commanding that first season. If you go back,
he isn't doing that enough now. Go ahead. I'll let you finish. Great point there.
He was coming out for every cross. Go and watch his clip again. Any ball that comes in the box, he was out commanding the box and he was catching everything. Virtually everything he was catching in the box, commanding that box. So any ball into the box it was just for him to catch. But Kepa was only unfortunate if we go back to it. Kepa, under Lampard, the mistakes got highlighted a lot because our defense was so bad. So the mistakes kept coming in and coming in. It was as if any shot on goal ended up at the back of the net against Kepa. But when Mendy came, even though he came during Lampard, Lampard was sacked, and then Tuchel came. Tuchel went for solidity in that defense. So the confidence went all through the defenders. I was actually watching Kepa's clip, playing out from the back, even under what's it called?
Pressure.
Tuchel.
Sorry.
He didn't look as if he was bad with his feet. He was playing out of the back, from the back, passing very well. So I don't know where it went wrong for him that he became too slow on the ball. He was caught up. And then, you know, when you make these mistakes regularly, the fans get at you and that noise gets at you. You can't really control your team anymore. They just, as if every ball to his feet now is just going to result to mistake. So the confidence is low, and then maybe he's not as commanding as he used to be. But Kepa, we didn't see Kepa a lot under Tuchel when the defense was very solid to be able to judge Kepa. Kepa came, he was conceding goals after goals, mistakes after mistakes. That was why they quickly... I was reading one of the chats there. Someone was writing that, remember, Kepa came in like a stopgap. And truly, nobody saw Kepa establishing himself this way. He was like, oh, let's bring him in quickly so we can look for someone else. Don't forget, we were even linked with Donnarumma and some other goalkeepers to come and take over. But he established himself very well, and rightly so. But now, I think complacency and then lack of concentration. Maybe his contract situation, looking at, I don't know how far it's true. He said he's on 60K a week,
which Kepa, was again around that number or a little more, but it was, you can say, twice as much as what he was earning in France. So he had to jump on it, and even get to the opportunity. Yeah, then go ahead.
Human as we are, everybody sees when he came in there. Oh, now I'm now the number one here, and then the Kepa is supposed to be the number one, and he's on 190K. I mean, he's human as well. If you're looking at this, so I'm the number one, and my number two in the club is earning more than me. I mean, he has to be thinking of getting more. But for me, he has not helped himself to push that case, because the mistakes now will be highlighted for him, and I mean, he's not in a strong position to put those his qualities across anymore because of his mistakes. So he would have, for me, I don't know what went wrong with him. He would have concentrated. Maybe if that level when he came the first year was the same thing we are saying, or is the same thing we are saying, obviously when he's going to negotiate the contract, they will not hesitate to say, yes, you've established yourself, you're the number one, rightly so, and outrightly like that, we need to give you what you're demanding for. But now, the mistake he's making is not going to help his cause at all.
It's
so for me, it's not going to help his case at all, demanding for that much, because the mistakes now is costing us a lot. And then, for me, if you watch Kepa when he played, if Kepa is under pressure, he kicks the ball straight. But Mendy thinks he's always playing out from the back. He always wants to play out from the back. He doesn't like kicking the ball forward. He just wants, when he comes, let me just look for someone to pass. And sometimes he passes to defenders when they are not even in the position to receive the ball. So it's not only him making that direct mistake. Sometimes he passes to them and then the other pressure, they press them and then take the ball and then he hands up. So those are all the mistakes that cumulatively, if you look at it, they are all causing a lot of mistakes. So it's not helping us at all.
And you could argue, had he been consistent enough, had he continued with that brilliant form we saw when he joined us, I don't think the club will offer him anything that would hear he rejected it. I think with here, they're still talking. But hearing we rejected it means I think probably the club might have been, considering going, for another goalkeeper from time. That's why they offered him something because the truth remains for him to have rejected the offer outrightly means they're not even close to something he was expecting. But has he, like Bobby said, and you said, he hasn't done enough for them to come with him with anything that you said by now. What we'd be hearing is that they're talking, but that's not the case. He rejected it outrightly, which means, again, they're not even close to what he was expecting to get. It remains to be seen whether the club, sees him, as indispensable, or sees him as good enough to earn whatever he's looking to get. Bob, you wanted to say something?
God sees it, and let the Holy Spirit vindicate you on that. But you can talk on the phone.
No,
Oh, so okay, Bobby was talking to someone else, but that's by the way. Again, let's see what else we have in the chat here. Goodness Wachiku says, Mendy just needs some time. Drop him off some time. Give Kepa this present opportunity, and Mendy would peak. But we already know his weakness, and that is he's not a ball player, a shot stopper. I still think otherwise, but I think in that department, in that aspect, I think Kepa is way better than him. Again, we didn't notice those things when he signed for us newly. Again, my guy had time to encrypt time in his own 60-yard box, and that's not the first time. Again, delayed decision making. I don't know if that's the better phrase to qualify. And that behavior, you can just put it forward. You don't always have to be fancy about it. I'm not just sure what has gone on there. Again, I really like Mendy, especially because Peter brought him in and he surpassed my expectation. All of us, you could say. But since last year, it wasn't the same. We're seeing again something seems off. I don't know what it is exactly. I blame Thomas Tuchel partially, for the continued those errors we've seen from Mendy. Again, when he was after that West Ham game that he made 2 high-profile mistakes. Subsequent games where he started averaging a single mistake per game, that was when you should have dropped him to the bench. Maybe that will wake him up to realize, wait, we have a capable hand on the bench. They can actually come in and do better than me, so I have to be 100% plus. And on the Thomas Tuchel gets a better record. I realize you must factor into that argument that Mendy played more games, but hope you understand my point there. Again, I remember the last match against Salzburg. He performed a back 4 with the defenders. If Mendy was in goal, again, I don't know what would have happened. And plus, again, Kepa is showing what I think Graham Potter will like so well, his sweeper keeping ability. You remember when he got off his line and he saved us. Because, again, Silva isn't that quick. And I think we've run into issues where Silva was expecting Mendy to come out of his line, and he didn't. And we nearly conceded a goal. But Kepa reads the game so well that, again, by the time the ball goes over the line, because we play a very risky high line, he's usually off his line to save the situation, salvage the situation maybe. And he did just that. The match against Salzburg, Mendy would have stopped that ball from. I don't think so. Not after a deflection. There's no way telling. Let's not just thinking I don't think so. I don't think he would. Honestly, I think Kepa is the better goalkeeper. Only problem I have with him is his height. Height isn't an issue for Kepa, and he's proven that. What game was that he stopped a ball in the 98th angle, that's agility. That's how he's light. He can lift himself up as long as he sees the ball, as long as there's no deflection. He can reach any ball, no matter where you put it in the angle. What game was that again? I can't remember. I think it was against the Champions League game. He stopped a ball from going into the net in the 90th angle. That's how good of a goalkeeper he is. But that's by the way. So let me end the poll now and plug in the goalkeeper. Again, as 63% thinks it should be Kepa and 37% thinks it should be Mendy. So we'll go with 63%. Like I said before, we can talk from now till tomorrow. And in the chat, those in the chat, we end up having the final say because it's democracy here. So yeah, it's Kepa, not Mendy. Now coming back to you, Eddie. Again, we have two, central defenders here, which again we have two of the best center backs in the whole world in Koulibaly and Thiago Silva. But the truth remains, we need balance. Those are two, they're not the youngest. I know they're good, they're experienced, they're very intelligent players, but we need balance. So for you, AD, who are the two players, again, you think will provide, you can say, give us a better balance here, the two pairings here, and possibly, to me, I don't think it would make sense for it to be Thiago Silva and Koulibaly. One of them has to drop to the bench, so we have a mix of youth and experience there. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's where exactly I was going. It has to be for me, Fofana and one of Koulibaly or Thiago Silva.
Yeah, and the point is, I think we will predominantly play with the three at the back, just like again, I will share, if you want to watch that video, I will share a TikTok's video again explaining again how many times explaining that's analysis of Graham Potter's approach to the game, predominantly a three at the back system, which means probably if we play a four at the back formation, so to speak, not system, because system again refers to application. Now, I think either of the two would drop, but again, who do you think starts?
I say Fofana, Thiago Silva.
Okay, I agree with you. How about you, Dan? Who do you think starts? Again, remember, we need balance. Dan, if you're still there, if not, go ahead.
Yeah,
okay, I see you've unmuted yourself.
Yeah. Well, for who? It'd be Fofana.
Two centre backs, yeah.
This is centre backs, or I think it'd be Thiago Silva and Koulibaly.
You're not concerned about balance. Two of them are not the quickest on the pitch. You could say, yes, I agree. Koulibaly, he has a good acceleration, but overall pace, he's not the quickest on the pitch. So
but
balance.
What it is with Potter, yeah, he likes experienced players, yeah. And I know Fofana's got experience in the Premier League, but with Koulibaly, Koulibaly, you've got to understand with Koulibaly, he wants to get him gaming time, so you don't want to put him on the bench more often. So if it was the case, if it'd be a case, it'd be Thiago Silva probably resting and having Koulibaly for Fofana. But he wants to play Koulibaly on the pitch so he could actually get more Premier League experience. So because you've got to understand this, but if Thiago Silva is not with us next season, he wants to have Koulibaly to have the experience in the Premier League. And I'm thinking if it is the case, because you've got to understand this, he played Thiago Silva and Aspie at centre back in the Champions League, and it didn't make no sense. So why have Aspie over Koulibaly? But my opinion, it could play Koulibaly, Thiago Silva, and Fofana at the three at the back. But I'll go with I'll go with Fofana, but I think it will be Koulibaly when we next game.
Yeah, balance is key. And again, if we play predominantly with a three at the back system, which means, which I believe, if we stick three at the back formation, I think Koulibaly will get enough game time that if Potter decides to drop him when deploying a four at the back system, again, it'd be easy to say, okay, you get a rest here while Thiago Silva comes in, because I'm thinking he's going to even play more games than Thiago Silva will. But Bobby, I'm going to come to you in a bit, so get ready. But let me catch up with what we have in the chat here. Again, it says that's a game where Mendy misjudgment and overconfidence cost us a goal. Not once. He was off his line, and the ball swerved in and beat him to his left side. Again, he's considered near post goals, which again, it's his goalkeepers shouldn't. It happens every now and then, but again, on occasions he's done that. Again, please, guys, like the video. We have 47 likes. We should be doing better than that. Let's try to get it to 100 likes as soon as possible. Again, thank you so much for all the support. I appreciate that. Any of you having a problem with YouTube? Yep, I've seen that myself. It's more like an outage, but it's off and on, and it's back right now. So thank you for that. Mendy made 3 mistakes last January at West Ham. It gave away the pen. Was beaten by Bowen from outside the box. Then handedly, yeah, that one was really comical. But that's, by the way, again, versus Salvo Kepas, weight was shifted to his left. The ball, again, I get that also. A deflection there didn't make it easier for him to stop that one. But people think he should have stopped him, stopped that one. Bobby, coming to you. Are you still there, Bobby?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So your thoughts again? What was it again? I was going to ask you. The 2 centre backs. Balance is key. I know it would be tempted to say Koulibaly and Thiago Silva, and then we'll have the 2. You can say the most solid or the most experienced centre backs again in a back 4 formation. But I think balance would be key to mix. What do you think?
Yeah, balance would be key. It depends on the opposition as well. Although, and at the same time, you shouldn't be changing your defense too much. I think going forward, he will probably be settling more for Koulibaly and Fofana, because you can't play Thiago Silva game in, game out. And I'm pretty sure after the World Cup, Thiago would not even want to be played game in, game out. He will start to wind down.
So you think it will be the pairing there will be who and who?
Fofana and Koulibaly.
Wow. Okay. Let me ask this in the chat. Let me get their opinion. If anybody, you can go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead. Let me ask. Why I ask the chat.
Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, Bobby, man. I did say Koulibaly and Fofana. I did say.
Okay, let's find out. Go ahead. Let us know what Dan. Go ahead with why you chose the 2 players. Let me find out what the chat thinks, because it's important to get them to be inclusive. We have to find out what they think.
It's because if you got to understand this, Thiago Silva, yeah, his legs, he needs rest like in games, yeah. And then if you notice when Potter, what like I said with Potter, he wants Koulibaly to have a lot of experience in the Premier League to be the best centre back to know the Premier League if he's with us for a long time after Thiago Silva. And if Koulibaly don't get enough games this season in the Premier League, he's not going to adapt to the Premier League fast-paced football in this Premier League, and he's going to struggle. He's going to totally struggle to try to adapt to the Premier League, what is fast-paced football. So Potter will probably put Koulibaly in there more often, so he could actually adapt this to the Premier League for the near future when it comes into like the next season of the Premier League. If we don't play Koulibaly, it's like if we played 4 at the back and we don't play, and we never play 3 at the back with like sometimes Potter plays 3 at the back, but we don't get Koulibaly on that pitch, in the Premier League, it's gonna end up going that lower level and slacking on the pitch, where he won't get much ability on the pitch. Where with the defence with Thiago Silva, he's got the experience in the Premier League. Fofana, he's got the experience in the Premier League. they adapt to the Premier League very well and know the tactical football, fast and pace in the Premier League. Koulibaly doesn't. So if we don't give Koulibaly the chance to adapt to the Premier League, you never know. It might go back on himself and take.
Let me tell you where I again again Koulibaly he actually started well for Chelsea. His Chelsea career started well. I think the issue, and I'll bring in all other panelists to talk about this. The issue we saw, the problems we saw, people jumped to the conclusions he's struggling to adapt to the play. That's not the case. The issue was that the lack of chemistry between the defense. We had new players. We had Cucurella and we had Koulibaly plus Silva. Yes, even if they all speak French, they haven't played together. We have two new additions there, which makes it difficult. Again, it's lack of understanding how the other player plays, which needs that comes with time, chemistry, understanding where Silva will be at any point in time, Silva understanding where Koulibaly will be at any point in time. It was just lack of proper communication or chemistry, if you prefer. It wasn't about the pace of the league. If you watched all the games he's played with Chelsea, he's actually adapted quickly. I don't think it has anything to do with the pace of the Premier League or anything. It has to do with too many changes. Two changes in the defensive line is too many. Eddie, your thoughts again on Daniel's argument that Koulibaly has struggled with the pace of the Premier League?
I wouldn't say so. That he struggled with the pace of the Premier League. I would rather agree to your own side about changes in the number of new defenders coming in. But I don't think there will be anybody that nobody will be surprised if we saw Fofana and Silva playing or Fofana and Koulibaly pair together. I don't think we'll be surprised. And then nobody will be. It depends on game, just like Bobby said. The games will determine which player goes on the pitch. We'll be surprised as well if we saw Thiago Silva alongside Koulibaly. So we are blessed with good players that we can really say yes. Okay, while they're adapting to the Premier League, they won't all falter as well. So Koulibaly, Thiago Silva, nobody will see that lineup and say yes. But for pace, but one thing we said it earlier when we were talking about Thiago Silva. One thing he is blessed with is he reads the game very well. He doesn't overplay. He does the basics. So for him, he covers that pace with experience. He plays the game, and then he doesn't get himself into positions where, I mean, look at the mistake he made against the last game we played against Salzburg. Nobody has highlighted that mistake. No, I've not seen anywhere they talked about, because 9 out of 10 times or 10 out of 10 times,
he gets it right.
He gets it right. So nobody, because Thiago Silva, we can't really sit down as fans and say, oh, he's made so many mistakes, he's made this. No. So that's why nobody has ever complained about Thiago Silva. He made that mistake that led to that goal, because he's so consistent. So the consistency in his game will always put him ahead of Koulibaly, because we've seen him more than Koulibaly. So Koulibaly is only just coming into the team. I think he played alongside Fofana the game against Dynamo Zagreb, and he jumped out too early for me when Fofana made that mistake. So if it was Thiago Silva would have stayed back, kind of. So we are blessed in that area whereby I don't think anybody sees the pairing. Even Aspilicueta will be surprised. Aspilicueta will come in that center of defense as well some games. Aspilicueta is going to play there as well, because he's good in that. He will be able, he's capable of playing either in the cup games or whatever. So in that area, one thing that is constant from what all of us we've agreed is that Fofana starts on one side. So it's the other side, and because it's their age, and then we need to manage them properly. So it's on the other side.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's only what we are talking about is who pairs Fofana. We've all agreed Fofana starts, and then who pairs him. So it's either Koulibaly or Thiago Silva. So whoever starts there, I don't think anybody will begrudge the lineup.
Yeah, again, Bobby, I don't know if you want to comment on Dan's argument whether Koulibaly has struggled with the physicality or pace of the Premier League. Like I said, I don't think that's the case, and I think Eddie agrees with me. But it's a good argument to bring up, because that's what people have been saying. I don't think that's the case. I think it all comes down to the change in in the defensive line and lack of understanding between the new players and those that's been there. And in the defensive line, even a single change, it can cause a lot of lack of cohesion in the back line. Your thoughts, Bobby, if you want to comment on that. If not, we can go ahead with building the lineup.
I think the pace of the Premier League did affect him. It's not an easy league. It's compared to what's going on in Italy, Spain. The pace is totally different. The intensity is also different. I think he got to a point where he kind of struggled with it. I wouldn't even say struggled with it. He needs to get used to it. And you see, managers in the Premier League, as I've often said, I think more than any other league, they study opposition, especially top-rate opposition that they look at as a threat, like Chelsea. And they study the individual players. They look for weaknesses. They look at how to gain an advantage. And you have to be smart. You really have to be smart playing in the Premier League. It takes people some time. Is he a quality defender? Absolutely. Will he get used to it? Absolutely. Just like Thiago Silva had to get used to it. A game or two, gosh, he was caught flat-footed.
He wasn't that pretty. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I never forget West Brom. They caught him on the hop, although it was a tactical error by Lampard to leave him isolated like that, and they exposed the fact that he was old and didn't have the pace. So what he's been doing now, look at his nous and experience. He always does his best to position himself correctly. Thiago Silva, just as has been said, nobody, not one person, spoke about the error that led to the goal, because we know who he is, we know what he is, we know what he brings to the team. We know that was, there's mistakes and there's things that people do, and you're like, oh gosh, it's a little bit of a lapse in quality.
It was never a situation. There you go again.
No, he's actually. I think most people saw. Listen, this guy is 38 years old today. When he played that game, he was more or less 38. He got hurt earlier, and he continued playing. But he's not 28. He's not even. You know what I mean? He's not 21. He's not even 28. And this gets you. I don't care who you are, no matter how fit you are. A lot of the fitness of these guys that play till later on in life is also genetic. If you have the genes that will allow you to do that, and then you train yourself, you're able to do it. And he's got that. But the reality is that God Almighty, who is Almighty, made us all with certain limitations as time goes on. And that effect, the effect of that collision that kept him on the ground earlier, is what I think just didn't help him with that tackle he tried to make. Had he had been stronger, he would have cleared that ball completely if he was going to go to ground, but he didn't. And I think people could see that. And that's what's going to be. And that's why I think going forward, his game will need to be managed. I think we should limit it to two players that we can manage their games. Thiago's, because of what they bring to the team. Thiago Silva and N'Golo Kante. I don't think we should bother managing appearances for Aspi. Aspi can play against lower league teams or come on much, much later when we need something defensively. He's done. And Koulibaly.
And I still, in the case, sorry, Bobby, just quickly, in the case of Aspi, I don't think, the club, making sure he stayed wasn't down to his playing ability or how much games he will play. Just they need that spine to, not to, because we've lost Rudiger again. We needed him to stay, his leadership qualities on and off the pitch and all that. But go ahead.
I get it. Azpilicueta will always be a legend at this club. 10 years at Chelsea, he has been Mr. Consistent. But yet again, age gets to everybody. And we have to realize, you see, that is a reality of life. Look at the great Cristiano Ronaldo. I think he's beginning to come to that realization. He's seen that clubs don't want him. He's seen that there are some things in his game that at his very, 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 very high standards is beginning to tell, that little extra spring in his step, that turn of pace, that it happens. One that was so glaring and really, really sad to see was Ivanovic. Remember him?
Yeah.
Wow. Ivanovic lost it to age. He really lost it. You could see the pace had gone. And sometimes it's better for a player to leave you at his peak where you don't have that memory of them when that decline sets in. So, Thiago, fantastic player, but we've got to respect his age, and we've got to realize that he will not be playing game in, game out. And let me tell you, once we resume football, because we have, I think now 2 games in hand, our fixture congestion is going to be a lot. And if we can, by some act of God, survive that League Cup game against Man City and go through to the next round, the number of games we'll have to play will increase yet again. So, that's all I have to say about this.
Yeah, again, thank you for that. Again, in a bit, I will end the poll so we can plug in the 2 center halves. I'm just waiting. Let me see. Okay, just 1 second here. What do we have here? Can I read that? Yes, it's a very poor. And there's a question I highlighted. It was the question I wanted to highlight. I'll highlight this one, and if we have time enough, we'll try to address it. Thank you for that question. And Dan, thank you for bringing up what led to that. You could say a very good, got us thinking. I appreciate that. Again, who do you guys think I said would address that if we have time enough? Yes, people keep liking the video. We have 48 likes. We should be doing better than that. If you haven't, please do take a second to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Let me see anything else to address here. Again, when Thiago retire, again, his position is going to be very difficult to find a replacement. His composure, man marking, game reading, and superior consistency, intelligence, and maybe if you allow me to add that there, is definitely, again, are definitely going to be missed when he's gone. That's the truth. Again, he's a different breed of player. There's never been any player like him. Thiago Silva should be appointed as a defensive head coach at Chelsea. We've talked about that. We can keep him in that capacity, even as a mentor. He has the repertoire that when he speaks, everybody in the dressing room listens. The players especially. Thiago is one of the best defenders of his era. He's definitely a GOAT. And again, in his position, I think he is. Let me come back to. Let me see again. It says Silva and Fofana 35%, Silva and Koulibaly 47%. That's surprising to me. But again, my logic is this: is that in a back 3 formation, Koulibaly will play quite a lot of game. That it'd be easy to say, okay, you take a break here. Then we get Silva in, because I'm thinking Silva will be rested even more than him. That's my logic. But the chat picked Silva and Koulibaly, so I'm going to plug him in there. And why I'm still with you, Bobby, your thoughts? We have a problem here, a serious one in this position here. You can say the left back position. We have Cucurella who can play there. Chilwell who can play there, but if you ask me, I say again, you could say Chilwell is more equipped, better equipped to play there. That's my opinion. But that's a chance Potter picks a player who understands how he likes to approach the game, and we see that happen. Some of us thought maybe Chilwell would start the last game we played. He was on the bench actually. But Bobby, your thoughts on the left back position?
Yeah, in a bid to do the right thing. Both, isn't it just sod's law that both of them will be fit? I mean, I'm not wishing injury on anybody, God forbid, but if they're both fit and on form all season, that's going to be an area of contention. And I think the only get out of jail card is that the opportunity to play Cucurella as a left centre back, depending on the game, certainly not Premier League games, is an opportunity to play both of them. But it'll have to be a very rotational position, unfortunately, or fortunately, it has to be. And as such, in terms of starting as a left wing back, that's so difficult.
It's not easy. Now we know how difficult it is for Potter because it's fun. That's why this exercise is really fun. But go ahead.
Let's say against Palace, Palace, Cucurella, he hasn't gone on international break, has he? The Spaniards don't.
No, I think he hasn't. He hasn't actually gotten the call up from the Spanish national team.
Okay, so I will play Cucurella.
And again, that's countries. They also want a situation where, again, they wouldn't want to call him now. They know if he stays, probably he gets a chance to start over. I think Luis Enrique will know if he stays back and works with Potter even further, he gets a chance. Then him starting over Ben Chilwell after the international break will be justified. That gives them more time, it helps, again, offers them the opportunity to gain more experience. I don't know if what I'm trying to explain makes sense. They do consider that in most occasions, because I've heard club managers say, I think we just left him out for him to concentrate in his, in his club career. So again, they don't want to risk him losing his place. So the more, if they play well, he continues playing, and it's good for the country and the player himself. I hope that makes sense. But you said, who did you pick, Bobby?
Cucurella.
Yeah, it makes sense given that Chilwell traveled also. But if you're talking about the season overall, because it's not just we're saying preferred 11 throughout the season. That's why we're even going to consider injured players if anybody's out injured.
The season overall, I would pick Chilwell simply because he has been here, seen it and done it already with Chelsea, and Cucurella hasn't yet. That's the only reason. It has nothing to do with form. That is the only reason I will pick him. And also, he will need to not feel that he has been displaced. So that psychological side of it has to come in. But honestly, something in me is saying Cucurella, because Cucurella is physically, he seems stronger. He seems more energetic. The only thing Chilwell has over him is Chilwell is a better goal scorer. And indeed, I can envisage many a time Chilwell being moved into the midfield. Really, he can do a job there. Why not? Left side of midfield, especially if he comes off the bench. I don't know about starting, but especially if he comes off the bench, for sure.
I'd rather Cucurella on the left side of the midfield rather than Chilwell. I think Cucurella is more equipped to play in the left side of the midfield than Ben Chilwell is. Again, that's my argument.
Either or. Just to get them both on the field and not to have any issues with them, with either of them feeling left out, because they're both excellent left-sided players. They will get into any team in the world. So, whoever is best for that left, maybe that will start to solve our midfield problems, especially defensively.
Yeah. Again, I understand it's not easy. Again, it's when it comes to team picking, that's when you understand how much of a difficult job it is for the manager. But again, we're blessed. I think rotation will be. Go ahead, Bobby.
Coach, honestly, we sit here as Chelsea fans and we analyze our team. We're looking for the best. But really, Tuchel as a coach, Potter as a coach must be rubbing his hands. Look at, wow, that team really. If you use
so much to work with.
yeah, if you use that team correctly, my goodness me, honestly, we should be right up there, challenging with Liverpool and Man City. Honestly,
Yeah.
even without the additions we know we need, but with a coach that can use those players correctly, gosh, it's not going to be easy. That's why we're such a threat. That's why till now, even as chaotic as we are at the moment, teams hear Chelsea and tremble because they know the quality at the disposal of the coach. It's just for the coach to use it right.
Yeah, and for the players to be confident enough, to facilitate the manager's desired tactics for a particular game. But thank you very much for that, Bobby. Again, I've read that one here. Again, we can rotate Cuckoo and Chile. Yeah, and that's Bobby has elaborated on that. We're richly blessed in the left hand side defensively. Again, it's all about rotation. Rotation, I think, will keep them both happy. But it has to be, you could argue, it has to be done in equal measure. Chilwell already an established England international. Cucurella looking at probably waiting for a call from the Spanish national team. I think it will happen for him soon, having moved to Chelsea. But the Spanish national team, again, they're so blessed in that area too that Cuckoo has to be exceptional to get a chance. But that's why the way I would prefer to see Chilwell in the starting 11 because he's better going forward than Cucurella. Just as good in defending. I disagree with that. We're talking about Cucurella, who again had more balls into the box than again 500 plus or a little less than what's the Man City guy, the Belgium international, Kevin De Bruyne. It's just that Brighton, they didn't have the players to get at the end of those balls. Again, but that's by the way. But I get your argument. Cucurella is good at CB, but physically will always be an issue. You think so? I didn't see that. The last game he played in that left center back position, he was brilliant, and he's got some good leap in him too, just as much as Chilwell does. I think physically, yeah. Go ahead.
It wasn't against the team that was pressing and trying to use physicality, and he wasn't coming up against Antonio, for example, or the typical Premier League attacking force. That team was playing low block and trying to hit on the break. And I mean, not to take away from him, he did very, very well. But you know what the Premier League is like. They're going to come. They're going to notice you're challenged with vertically, and they'll be putting high balls there and getting their big guys there. And it's all about the physical in the English game. And
so you're arguing we can't come to that conclusion yet until we see him against those sort of teams.
I wouldn't try him against those teams. It's not worth it. It's not fair to him to try him against those teams. I think you have to be intelligent enough to know when is the right time to play him at left centre back. And those times will come. But we need to be careful doing that in the Premier League.
Just quickly, Bobby, if you followed Graham Potter's back line, I think he prefers defenders who are able to carry the ball.
Yeah.
I don't. Again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm sensing. I think Cucurella does that better. Cucurella does that better than Ben Chilwell.
No, Ben Chilwell does it better than Cucurella, coach.
Really? You sure you're not being biased? I know you're English. Or if you're from somewhere else, let me know.
It's not because I'm international English and biased. Yeah. Well, with Ben Chilwell, you see him how he adapts to the left wing back and actually gets into the box, puts the balls in the box, and he can actually score goals.
No, we're talking about ball carrying here. Yeah, I get the goal scoring aspect.
Yeah, but when it comes to ball carrying, Ben Chilwell carries the ball. It's more than what Cucurella does.
I think I'd have to look at the stats and not just go off the top of my head from what I'm seeing, or just go with eye test. But I get it. Let me see.
If you actually watch the game with Cucurella, and then when it comes to Ben Chilwell on the picture, you see Ben Chilwell holds the ball more than Cucurella does, and actually controls the ball. It's not because I'm an English and international. I don't get me wrong. I love Cucurella. When we signed him, he's class. But if it comes to Cucurella and Ben Chilwell is much better than Cucurella holding the ball.
Okay, just quickly again, Liam Lane says my thinking is players like a good run, like a good run of games to get to their best. Every player, again, muscle memory and all that. It's a good argument. Eddie, let me start you with this concern here. Before you give me your thoughts on who starts on again in the left back position. Eddie, are you still with us?
Yes, I am, coach. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Giovanni Jafta says Reece James will be lost in this formation. Your thoughts? Again, for me, I don't think so. But go ahead, your thoughts, if you think so. And Jafta, I'd like you to explain why you think that's the case. He actually started as a right back, not really as a right wing back. But go ahead, Eddie.
No, I don't agree with that. No, Reece James would fit in this system properly. I mean, you see, just as Bobby and Dan said, we are blessed with quality in this team. The squad is blessed with quality. I mean, I was sitting there looking at this. Even if we played Fofana as the right back, play Reece James as one of the midfield three, nobody's going to say no. That's the quality we have. On the left side, just like Bobby said, who says we cannot play Cucurella and then Ben Chilwell on that side, both of them. Mourinho used to do it with Ashley Cole and what's that called? Ashley Cole and forgotten that the other left back, Wayne Bridge and Ashley Cole. Mourinho used to do it. So they interchange. We're talking about the quality of Cucurella. Cucurella has some qualities. Ben Chilwell has his own qualities as well. So if we alternate them on that side, some games, depending on the manager, who says we cannot see the best of both of them? Defensively, we've only looked at Cucurella in this Chelsea. It's only about 3, 4, 5 games or so. We've not seen a lot of him. But some people who allude to the fact that Cucurella is better defensively than Chilwell. And some will say going forward, Cucurella is better than Ben Chilwell. But scoring, Ben Chilwell is better scoring. He has better scoring numbers than Cucurella. But they also play different systems. Ben Chilwell came from a 4 at the back from Leicester. That's why we signed him. Lampard signed him because he plays 4 at the back system from Leicester. So we are blessed in that area whereby we can say, I don't think anybody, just as I said earlier on, if the lineup came out, we saw Cucurella on that left side, nobody's going to say no. If we saw Ben Chilwell, nobody's going to say no. That's the quality we have. If you look at a team like Liverpool, you know from their start first 11, Robertson and then Arnold on the right. That's the gap of the way they have. But in Chelsea, we have that close. There's no margin of a lot of gap among them. Chilwell, Cucurella, I mean, any one of them play, I don't think there's any problem. They have different qualities, but I agree with Bobby, who says Cucurella or Ben Chilwell, even Ben Chilwell cannot play the left side of that three. Who says Reece James cannot play three on the right side, and then Fofana as a right back. So we are so blessed with different things we can do with this lineup. That is why I'm so happy, because if injuries come in, we know definitely we are covered. We can cover injuries with what we have now. So we are blessed. I think it's good for the club.
Yeah, it is. It is again not easy. Again, the man again, like Bobby said, he'll be looking at this team and say, "Wow, what I can achieve with this." Again, I hope I didn't misquote you, but what you said, you said something in that region, which makes a sense. We'll see what the chart, who they've chosen. Chilwell is leading. You could argue when it's a back. Yeah, like Coach said, we signed Ben Chilwell from Leicester City, who played predominantly with a back four formation. So if we're going to a back four formation, most likely he starts. You could say, what's his name? Cucurella does better in a 3 at the back system. Again, overlapping your left center back, if you want to phrase it that way. Reece James will now be lost, like we've established. Again, you also have to consider the options the opposition's style of play and start either of them accordingly. Yeah, that's the case. They're both very pacey players. They're both quick, so pace wouldn't be an issue if we're trying to start players if we're trying to start players who'd help us stop pacey opposition. Either of the two players will suffice. So let me see again what we have here again. Glenn says Maicon wasn't lost in the back four, neither was Dani Alvarez. James is going to push forward a lot, so the right side needs runners that can cover for him. Again, even when we play with 4 at the back system, the full backs will still overlap. That's the modern game for you. Again, but traditionally, the primary role is to defend, but they can also overlap. So that's a very, very good point there. So I appreciate you coming up with that, Glenn. Again, here we have Potter. It's not good enough to lead Chelsea, you think? Elaborate. I'd like to know. You have the right to your opinion. So go ahead, elaborate. Again, guys, if you're watching, we have 51 likes, so we can do better than that. Please like the video if you haven't, and also do subscribe to the channel. That goes a long way. Again, we can do better than just 51 likes. So the poll, now it's 50-50, so I'm going to give it a bit of time before I stop it. Again, for the right back, let me start with you, Dan. Just quickly, who do you think starts? Again, we don't have too many options there, actually. So, choice, that area you can say picked itself.
James, isn't it? It's gonna be
Totally. Again, the question now is, what are we gonna do if he isn't fit? We'll have a problem there.
No, we don't, Coach.
Sorry?
We don't. We could put Aspie there.
Okay. Maybe that. Go ahead.
That's the only opportunity we've got who could play that side. If Reece James was injured, Aspie plays right wing back. Even though I know people don't really want him playing there because he's slow pace, but you've got to understand this. Aspie's good at right wing back, and he could work in that position. You know, like. Or unless you put Ruben Loftus-cheek there, like when you said last time how well he did that, the right wing back with Thomas Tuchel.
No, it's a different position altogether. You could argue the difference between playing again the right back and the right wing back position is this: in the right wing back position, your primary responsibility is to help overload the attacking areas, but you are expected to come back to make up numbers when we're defending, but. In the right back position, primary responsibility defend. But you still have the right to overlap. Yeah. Go ahead.
But you got to understand this. When we played against the Champions League, when we drew 1-1, Aspie still played on the pitch when Potter subbed on the player, and he was playing up right back for a bit, right wing back where we changed. And then after a few minutes after that, and then Potter subbed Aspie off. So if it's the case, if Reece James did get injured, he would do the right wing back situation, because there's no other opportunities apart from. But Cucurella could play there and all. Coach, I've never noticed about it, but there's a formation he actually has played right wing back, right back role for Brighton before, for Potter at Brighton. When one of their right backs was injured, he actually played there for Brighton before, 2 or 3 games. So there is opportunities for right wing back to play, but if it's just the case, Potter will have no choice to put Aspie there for Reece James. So, but Reece James ain't injured, so we never know that, Coach. We never know. But if he did get injured, it'd be definitely Aspie.
Yeah, okay, let me catch up with the chat.
We're forgetting that we still have Chalobah.
Do you think he can play there comfortably?
Yes, he can, of course. I think so.
But we haven't seen him do it. The right centre-back position is a different position. Again, different requires...
right centre-back. Not right centre-back, right back.
Now I'm saying he's played in the right centre back position. We've seen him there, but we haven't seen him in the right back position. Maybe someone else has, but I haven't.
Oh yeah, okay. Not seen him. Yeah, I'm not seeing him. But I think Chalobah should be able to do. I don't know. I think Chalobah should be able to play the right. He's got that pace, because don't forget, it requires you going forward, supporting the attack as well, and then coming back to defend. So Aspi is lost that touch of pace. A yard of pace is lost it, Aspi, for me. Aspi will play in less demanding game because his pace is gone a little bit. So I'd rather Chalobah, if Reece James gets injured, Chalobah playing there over Aspi. That's my own opinion, though.
Okay. Let me catch up with the chat comment out what he thinks. Here we have, let me see, not too much there. This one says, again, I see Reece James as a right wing back. That's his best position. Again, in this formation, he will be played at right back where we don't want him. He is good at putting crosses in the box. So right wing back is more suitable given his abilities and his qualities in the offensive area. But the truth remains, again, who else do you think will be able to execute that right back role better than Reece James? That's where he started. Again, I think even playing him in the right back position, he's still overlap. He still can get you goals. Again, it all depends on the application, or again, you can say the system, or the application of the manager's, demands again with that particular formation or structure, if you prefer. But that's me. That's how I see it. Again, Glenn Lemlin says I have to drop off now. I have a new job. My granddaughter just started. Oh, congratulations! And she will be coming to me for a couple of hours each day after school until ma'am picks her up. Baby time. Yep, enjoy it. It is no such joy. Again, I don't have my kids are just 6, 2, and 10 months old. So yeah, but I'll get there. Enjoy it, bro. A family first, and thank you very much for finding the time to be in the chat to help keep things civil. I cannot thank you enough. Kachila will watch the rest later. Look forward to seeing the team enjoy it. I don't think we'll be able to complete it today because we're on the lives before we plug in. But yeah, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that. Again, a right back is not our problem right now. We need a midfield again who's composed, again, intelligent, and is excellent defensively. We will get to that, but we can say James just takes up this. But the argument has been, what if he's not playing? What do we do? And I don't know if Bobby has anything to add to that. If not, we'll move on. I think Chilwell now has taken the vote. 21 votes again in the poll. You could say it's enough sample, so I'll give it to Chilwell. Bobby, you have anything to add to James on the right hand side?
Yeah, this is a concern. I don't subscribe to playing Reece James consistently all the time in that position. I really don't. I think
so the question is, if we decide to rest him, who comes in? Go ahead.
Yeah, it needs to be rotated, but the problem is with who? I'm looking through the squad and I'm wondering, apart from Ruben and Aspi that we know can play there, or at least can do a job there, although Aspi has no pace anymore. I'm thinking, well, who else? I hope this is where Graham Potter might surprise us. He might adapt a player there. He's spending a lot of time with Chalobah. That might be an opportunity for him. I see no reason why Chalobah can't play there. I really don't. Apart from the fact that, maybe he's not a good dribbler. But pace-wise, passing-wise, crossing-wise, he should be able to do it. If not, the unpopular decision to convert one of the attackers to a sort of wing-back, you're looking at maybe the likes of Pulisic again. You're looking at, Havertz is out of the question. But you know, it's an area. It's an area that we.
Eddie, were you saying something? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I think we're getting this lineup mixed up now. Are we talking 3 at the back or 4? This is 4 at the back.
No, this is 4 at the back. Probably Bobby didn't realize that. I think.
Oh, if it's 4 at the back, then definitely Chalobah
will suffice when James is.
Yeah.
4-3-3. It is 4-3-3.
Yeah, it is 4-3-3.
Yeah, if it's 4 at the back, then Chalobah when Reece James is not there for sure.
You think he'd be able to fulfill that role?
He plays it. He's played as a right.
Yeah, yes, Chalobah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
No, but here's my argument there, Bobby. Application of the right centre back position is so different from the right back position.
Yeah, right back. That's where your midfielders come in. If you're going to play a flat back 4, that's where you have to have good protection and good mobility from the midfield, and I think he'll be fine there. I was thinking of a wing back. That's a different demand, but
except again, do you know why I didn't say anything? Because again, usually the position isn't usually like this, but you keep it flat so that people understand. Usually, these guys are a little bit further advanced than these 2 guys. Usually, when we're attacking, the only 2 people behind are usually these 2 guys here. This guy, Koulibaly and Silva. This guy is also, even though you can argue this formation is designed to have 2 players double up on any attacking player coming from the flanks here. Let me just say it makes it easier for them to double up on somebody. But these guys do overlap too. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Cafu, when at AC Milan, they played with a back 4 system under Carlo. I think it was under Carlo Ancelotti, but yet he's always in the attacking area. So this doesn't mean that the fullbacks, they sit back. No, they attack too. So I think that's why I'm saying if anybody thinks the Reece James will be lost here, no. This is actually a very, again, it depends on the application. This can be a very attacking approach with having only 2 central defenders stay, which usually are disciplined enough, but these 2 guys still goes forward to still support the attack and overload the midfield and the attacking area. But that was why I was thinking maybe, again, because Potter is known to be very, to take unorthodox approaches. That's a chance he deploys somebody like Ruben Loftus-cheek there because of his attacking ability, not really because of his defensive abilities. But that's, by the way, Dan, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. With Bobby and Edward said about Chalobah, he can play that role. I've seen when we had that French guy, we got out loaned, but we've loaned him out to the French Monaco. What was his name?
For what position?
He was a centre back. He was a French kid, young kid. We got him for free. I can't remember his name.
Malang Sarr.
Yeah, Malang Sarr. When Malang Sarr was in a position, Chalobah used to play on the right wing back when Reece James was out injured last season for Thomas Tuchel, and Malang Sarr played in like a left back, centre back role, and it was Chalobah at the right back situation. But so Chalobah could easily have the experience to play right back or right wing back role where he wished he could play there. Because when he was in the under-23 squad for Chelsea, people didn't really know that he actually did play for the right back role for the under-23s for a few games. So he's got a little experience he can actually play as a right back and a right wing back. So if it comes to the case with Reece James did get injured, we could put Chalobah as a right back.
Let's see again. We'll see what Graham Potter does. We've settled the Chelsea argument. Again, we're going to go to a much more difficult one. I think we'll end with the number 6 position, the single 6, because usually that's what happens when you play with a 3-man midfield, a 4-3-3 formation. I've read that one, and here says again, I would play both Chilwell and Reece as wingers, they do better than our attacking midfielder. You could, yeah, that's a solid argument right there, and nothing has changed. We can always give Fofana a try in that role. Again, I still strongly think that some there's no way. I don't think Potter will start these two men here. Yes, again, we'll have some of the most experienced center backs, and plus again the pedigree speaks speaks for them. But I think balance will be key there. But we don't know. We'll see what happens. It says here. Let's say, imagine again we still had Lamptey on my Lamptey for right back. I'm not sure. It may be in right wing back position. Yeah, I'd say again he'd be fire for us. Again, oh yeah, again we forgot the Fofana. We did not forget Fofana. We asked the question. All the panelists picked. Again, all the panelists picked this pairing there. I wasn't sure what Eddie said, but the those in the chat picked the combo of Silva and Koulibaly. Not again only a few things for final stats would be again. I don't know, but we'll see what Potter does. Again, Emmanuel Daniel Harris says James starts all day for me. He's a different level for me. He's going to start for England to settle the argument of who is the best right back in the world. Reece is the first name of my team. I feel the same too, and I don't care that it's a full back, not a wing back position. I think it's still overlap from there. Cafu did it, and a whole lot of right back players did it. Ivanovic, I think, did it too when we played with a flat back four. He still got forward and still got goals from that position, not from corner kicks only. Even with normal play, he still got in the box. Again, it depends on the approach and how disciplined the man here is. Now, I think we're going to try to figure out this one here, probably end with that one. I'm going to start with you, AD, your thoughts. Again, in such a formation, I think the number 6 role is very, very pivotal, very important. Who do you think will be, again, better suited in such a structure?
Kante.
Why do you think Kante? Do you think he'd be able to, to still control the game on all that?
Yeah, I think so. And if we are talking of managing him, this is part of where the management comes in. Because if we look, the lineup we have there, Reece James will be moving forward. And you said I need a midfielder who will cover when Reece James is up. Kante can do that very well. So it's part of the discipline and the little bit of controlled role that he might be having in the team going forward. So for me, for that position playing in the 3, Kante will suit that position well. And then he doesn't need to do a lot of running. Just come back when Reece James, because Reece James, as we know, will be attacking. So that's where they alternate that. When Reece James goes, Kante can just drop, just like we see with Henderson, Liverpool. He's not the quickest, but he does that very well. Controls, helps the defense when Arnold goes forward or when Robertson goes forward. So Kante for me for that 6th role.
Yeah. Did you by any chance consider Dennis Zakaria?
Oh yeah, that's another player because we've not seen him. If Kante is not fit, I think Dennis, yes. But if Kante is fit, because we are going based on Kante being fit. But if Kante is not fit, which I don't think, if it's the team for Crystal Palace, then Kante obviously might not be fit for that game. So we've not seen Zakaria, but if the coach has seen enough of him. But if not, I tell you, we don't have any other player. They play Jorginho there. But if Kante is not fit and they've seen enough of Zakaria to be disciplined, which I think it could be, it should be, Zakaria for me will play there. If Kante is not fit, Zakaria should be able to do the job there.
What do you think, Daniel?
What's the question? Sorry.
Who plays the number 6 role in this particular structure in a 4-3-3 formation?
If I said before, N'Golo Kante,
Sorry?
with with Kante with his injury, coach. I don't think he'll get played straight away before the games. If it comes to it, it'll be Jorginho or Sakuya.
Hmm. Yeah,
Because
it's. You
I
think
would
it's
love
gonna
to
be
play
Dennis
Kante.
Zakaria? Is that what you think?
Yeah, I think Potter wants to give him a game because he hasn't had a game yet. He's come on loan from us, and we ain't seen him play on the pitch.
No, but that's
And
you sound like you're being sentimental. It doesn't mean like if we haven't seen him play. Maybe I misunderstood. I misunderstood what you're
yeah,
saying. But go ahead.
yeah, but we haven't seen him played on the pitch, and we haven't seen him actually free, and we should give him a chance to have a game for Chelsea because we haven't actually seen it. I thought we were getting him on the pitch playing. And if it would come to Jorginho or Sakuya, I would choose Sakuya all day long for that number 6 role. So, but I see where Eddie and Bobby saying about Kante, and Kante, I don't think he will start. Potter won't start him straight away. He will probably want to get his fitness back up, so he's ready. Then when he's fully fit, then he'll come and play. But for this game we're coming up for Chelsea, I think Potter will give Sakuya a chance to have a game against Palace to see what he's adapt and how well if he plays in that role. Georgie.
Yeah, again, I think as long as Kante again is fit, I think he starts essentially there with in the midfield 3 with this structure. Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not sure. There's no telling. We heard how he says Jorginho will be pivoted to the way he plays. I don't think so. Maybe it's just trying to,
As Potter actually come out in a statement saying that he's Kante fully fit to play the next game against Crystal Palace. There's no statement about Potter saying he's actually fit. They're on about his contract, but there's no been said about Potter saying. There's been a lot of people asking about if Kante's fit to play against Palace, but when he's had press conference news, and he said no, he ain't fully fit to play a few games. So Kante, if he ain't fit, and Potter hasn't said that in the confidence saying he's ready to play, then you won't see him playing. There's options there for Sakuya to have a chance, and if Jorginho, like Bobby, don't like Jorginho, and I agree to him. This Jorginho this season, he's been out for that. I think Potter had common sense, but Sakuya to give him a chance, see how he adapts to the number 6 role.
All right. Again, we'll see. I get your point. I text you and really get. I've responded. Again, it's up to you now. But thank you for finding the time to join in the chat. If you have time, you can still join. I think we'll have a few minutes before we round up. Is this 100% the formation Potter plays, or is it the 4-3-3 with 2 CMs and 1 cam? That's a good question. We're saying maybe we need to change things up. Okay, let's assume he needs just a single DM. Let's continue with the structure. If there's a need to change anything, we'll switch it around tomorrow. So more research we need more research. So Glenn, your argument makes sense. Is this again the 4-3-3, 2 CMs and 1 cam? I need to see the structure of that one actually. But let's stick with this one. Let's say one C if he needs 1 CDM. And do we really have any cam in the team to even switch it to a structure that will accommodate the cam? That's the question. Yeah, again, but that's why Zakaria is uncertain right now. If Kante is not fit, again, I would play Ruben in that position. Wow. Maybe as a CM, maybe not that deep. Probably things have to change it to again, maybe the structure that Glenn is trying to explain to us. He's saying, sorry, coach, affects my choice. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. I understand what you're saying. It makes good sense, but I have to check it. We're not finishing this today. We're actually stopping in the number 6 position. So I'll look at it again. If there's any need to restructure the 4-3-3, again, we will do that. But Bobby, your your turn. What do you think about the single six there? If that's the structure, who would you play in that position?
Well, we don't know anything about Zakaria, do we? And Dan is right. The fitness of Kante is still not evident, and I wouldn't even start him in such a game anyway. Just coming back, fitness. I would save him for Milan. So the reason I'm calling Zakaria is it's a cry for help for the midfield, and more in hope that he's the answer we're looking for.
Yeah, I think remember we're saying, okay, we're not looking at any player being injured or out. So we're just speaking again, we're just let's assuming everybody's fit. I'm going to look at what we have in the chart here. 70% I think Kante. Again, Zakaria, we get a chance, get his chance, but probably will be a rotational player. Except if Kante get again an injury issues persist, maybe we get a chance to see more of Zakaria than to decide whether we're going to keep him or not. But I still think, again, I know him too well to believe that's a good player in him, and I believe again we'll end up getting a very good deal, such as we did in the case of Kovacic. Again, what a bargain he's been to us. But something else I want us to end on that note. So, but I want to plug in this. Let me plug in this before I get us to talk about that. Let me see what we have here. Let me go back to the lineup again. Just give me a second. Chosen 11. See what we have in the chat. That's one question that I highlighted. There's definitely no Cam at Chelsea right now. Yeah, there's none. Like I talked about that in a bit. I thought that was supposed to be Mount, but he's becoming again. You can't. It's not his fault. Again, he has to adapt to the manager's demand, play in the position where the manager wants him to play. Hopefully, he gets his head together and finds some form. I think again, we'll see. I get the feeling Zakaria will end up being a Saul Niguez type of player. I think otherwise, I think we will end up, finding out that again he's more. You could say the Kovacic situation. He'd be a bargain because he's a good player. I won't start Kante. He just came back from injury, so I won't risk him. No, the argument is here. We're just assuming everybody's fully fit. Who will be the better option for the manager or for the team? Until then, we should start integrating Chukwuemeka in the team. I don't think Chukwuemeka will be playing Chukwuemeka as a sitting six. I think it will be a huge mistake, a waste of his talent. Again, if you prefer, again, Mendy returns to England with early recurring knee injury. Yeah, I did a short video on that, and that's something else. Again, I'm not sure. Is it recurring? I think this is the first time I'm hearing about it. I don't know. Maybe I'm not well acquainted with this injury record. You let me know. Bobby, let me start you with this question here. Who do you guys think will be again a sure signing in January? Yeah, that's a difficult one, right?
It's difficult. There's no such thing as a sure signing. I know we would be sensible to go back in for Edson Alvarez, but from the looks of things...
Okay, the Ajax midfielder, right?
Yeah, but from the looks of things, the difficulty there would be Ajax is probably going to progress in the Champions League, and we are not, which kills his incentive to move before the summer. The only other option I think that should be looked at very, very seriously and aggressively is Moise Caicedo. Rafael Leao can't be anything that can be done till next summer, but the groundwork will need to be done now. And that's why we need the director of football in. But Moise Caicedo, we can go in with some financial aggression for that. Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah, I think Leao's pursuit, I think it's become even more complicated given that we're hearing that PSG wants him, Manchester City wants him, and I think by January he'd be able to tell whether we'll make
Don't worry about
Champions League or so.
I'm not worried about them. What I'm worried about is that we have a director of football. we have with these new owners. You see, people are still thinking the Roman times. It's a different Chelsea now. These teams will not be able to use money to outbid us for players. I don't see that at all. I don't see that. Even to a large extent, they won't be able to use wages because Bowley and Co. are quite happy to pay good wages. So if they want to compete, so be it. I think many of them will be surprised. I think they know already. Do Man City really need him or want him? I don't think so. I don't think that's, I mean, they have enough. PSG, the same thing. I think we're in a very, very good position. But of course, if he's at all going to move, the agents, in order to get maximum price, will tout him and start trying to draw a kind of bidding situation. I'm not worried. I think if we want him, we stand a very good chance of getting him. It's not a financial constraint for us.
No, it's not. Again, money won't be the issue. Again, it's what the player wants to do. You can say we have an open hand in terms of. I think we've communicated our desire to sign the player. We did bid 100 million according to the rumors out there. There's no way to confirm if that's the truth. And but we've heard also from AC Milan's, again, who was it that said openly, yeah, we wanted it. We made a verbal offer. They rejected it, and they're trying to keep them. They've run into problems. I think that has to do with Rafael Leao's breach of contract when he was, I think, was it Sporting CP, a Portuguese team, before he left for France. So, and they shifted the fine to his French club, but I think the whole thing ended up landing on him. I think the fine is around 14 million pounds or so. He wants AC Milan to pay that, plus he wants a higher salary, and they refused. And I think AC Milan are in a very difficult position. Next year, he will have just a year left on his contract, which means a lower fee. And again, but that's, by the way, and I'm thinking come next year, a lot of clubs will be in for him. It all depends on how well he does this season. And Augustin Nwauti, I think this is the first time I'm seeing you here. So if that's the case, welcome to the channel. Please be sure to like the video and also do subscribe if you haven't. And please, if you're watching, tell people about the channel. Thank you for the success we've achieved so far, and we'll be hitting 7,000 subscribers soon. Our best 11: Mendy, James right back, Silva again, center back, Koulibaly center back, Kukurea left back, Kante DM, Connor attacking the midfielder, Mason again, Sterling right again, Broya striker, Havertz. Wow. Okay, we'll see. I wish I could see that in the structure myself. Mount has no fault. He's a traditional central attacking midfielder, being played out of position. That's the truth. Which means, again, if you start playing him in his preferred position or a position where he starts, again, there's also an adaptation period, whether you like it or not, because he's played as one of the eights for a long time, which is different, again, from a central attacking midfielder. For 2 years, again, just a lack of capable options in attack is stalling his progression as a central attacking midfielder. I think that's a fact right there. First agenda in general should be to get rid of Pulisic because he's not a fighter, and that is crucial when playing for Chelsea. I would prefer, again, to see Leon Bailey in his position because he's a better, and you not being, again, you're not being biased, and you're Jamaican, I know quite well. So I'm not really, again, a surprise. I'm happy to welcome, that's hilarious. And Jampot, I'm sure that's you just suggesting your countryman to the club. Leon Bailey, how well has he done at Aston Villa? How many games has he started, actually? I'd rather keep Christian Pulisic than go for Leon Bailey from what I've seen. I know at one point 2 years ago, so we wanted him. Yeah, I don't know what changed. Maybe less lack of the managers, understanding how to get the best out of him. And I'm going to welcome my brother Rodrigo to the panel, even though we have a few minutes around of. It's important that I do so. And I hope you don't get offended me saying this. Rodrigo just got married. All the way. I think your marriage was the whole thing happened in Cyprus. Did it?
Exactly.
Congratulations, my brother. Again, welcome to the club. Again, if you remember the message I sent you, it's funny, but I'm being factual. You saying how stressful it was, and you couldn't join the show, and I was like, please pay attention, prepare for your marriage, happy wife, happy life. More importantly, again, congratulations to you, brother. Again, I am happy for you.
Yeah. And
I'm glad everything went well. The photo speaks. The photos do speak volume of how everything went. Go ahead, brother.
Exactly, and I have to thank the Premier League for postponing the Chelsea game.
They're waiting for you.
Chelsea against Liverpool, so everything went really well for me.
So they're waiting for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That is special.
Congratulations, brother, man. You're in debt for life now in marriage. Congratulations, bro.
That's the one.
That's by the way. Bobby, you want to say anything to Rodrigo? Oh, AD, if you're ready, you can go ahead. If you have anything to say to Rodrigo, who just got married, go ahead. You have the floor. IBZ, if you're ready, it takes time for them to unmute. IBZ, if you're ready, what you have to say to Rodrigo? He just got married again in Cyprus. Congratulations to him. Go ahead.
Congratulations to your marriage. Many, many, many more years of happiness for you and your very beloved wife.
Yes.
May your marriage last long. May it be fruitful. You know, I wish you all the success in your marriage, man. Congratulations, brother. Congratulations, bro.
I hope it lasts longer than the last time Tottenham won the title.
I hope so. Eddie, anything you want to say to Rodrigo, or should we move ahead? These guys, are they here? Are they not? Okay, Eddie, go ahead. You want to say anything to Rodrigo?
Yeah, I just want to wish Rodrigo happy married life, and I say congratulations. And then I hope you enjoy it and live happily forever.
Thank you very
much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, Bobby, anything or should we just move ahead? Bobby usually takes some time to unmute his phone, but if you're ready, Dan, you want to say anything to him before we move on?
Yeah, to say congratulations, you're in debt for life with your marriage, and to stay strong and positive.
And never argue.
Good luck,
you're always wrong.
Once
Remember,
the
you're always
Tottenham
wrong.
falls, they say the ringing bells actually sings for the women. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, again, a lot of advice coming from the panelists, and I'm loving it because we're family here, and that's how we operate. Again, it says congratulations, and the Bluetooth game says, "May God richly bless you with 1,000 children." Okay, I don't want to say amen to that. I have 3. Good night. I'm dead. The beautiful game. First, he called you shameless. Again, he was joking, I know. But yeah, 1,000 children. But that's by the way, again, congratulations, brother. I am really, really happy for you. And I want to go to you straight up, Rodrigo. Your thoughts on what we've picked so far, because I think we're stopping with the number 6 role today. Unfortunately, I was, again, thinking about a balance for the 2 central center backs, but the chat, they beat us to that. They picked Koulibaly and so the pairing of Koulibaly and Silva. But your thoughts on the players we've picked so far?
Yeah, it looks like a decent team. I would have had Fofana and Koulibaly and put Silva on the bench. But obviously the chat already picked Silva, and I'll have Cucurella instead of Chilwell. I guess they've already selected him. I don't know. We have Kante as the number 6. Is that a team that with the players that we have now, or the players?
They can. It doesn't matter if the player is injured or not. Just we're assuming everybody's fit. You know. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. But yeah. I love Jorginho as well. We need to try out. We need to see this the Juve guy. The way he's talking, you'd think he want to play as a number 8.
Zakaria?
Yeah, the way he's talking about running into space and stuff. I'm like, does he know we signed him to be a DM? You're
asking me? I think he's a fine player. Again, I haven't seen him play a hybrid role of the Kovacic role, if you prefer. Maybe that's what he's trying to talk about, but I'm not sure he gets that opportunity at Chelsea. I think the only place he gets the opportunity is a defensive midfield role. I don't know. Again, I heard Thomas Tuchel say he can play as a CB. I'm not sure about that. Yeah. I'm not really sure about that. But coming to you, IBZ, and I think we're closing. We just have just a few minutes around of your thoughts again on the selection we've made so far.
Yeah, I have no argument. Sorry, I wasn't really about today. A lot of work issues. I'm looking at the squad. Chilwell, Koulibaly, Silva. Yeah, I mean, it looks realistic. Yeah.
What do you think about the two centre backs? Does it make sense? Again, consider the age of those two players. Yes, they're two of the best in the world. How about balance, youth and experience?
Yeah. If you're going to say you're going to protect that Thiago Silva, he can't be playing every game. So ideally, you're going to have the experience of Koulibaly and the youth of Wesley Fofana. Those will be your two centre backs. Thiago Silva will need to play, but because of his age, we need to protect his legs in order for him not to sit a lot on the benches. But yeah, that looks real. But in the long term, I want that Silva to be a Fofana. Yeah.
Sorry, in the long time, what did you say?
In the long term, I want it will be Koulibaly and Fofana as opposed to Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva will need to take a step back and just be behind the scenes. While Fofana and Koulibaly hold down that defense, but he'll still need a big part to play, so he'll come up for the big games. Or,
Yeah, let me ask this. Let's assume in a back three, if Thiago Silva isn't playing, who would you pick to lead the back line?
Be Koulibaly, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because I was saying, so maybe you're saying the taking back for Fofana. I think, yeah, but now I understand your argument. I think we need balance there. Again, Rodrigo, anything else you want to say?
No, I agree with what IBZ said. Yeah, we need to phase out Thiago. He's been very good this season again, but we need to learn to play without Thiago Silva. So we need to phase him out slowly.
Yeah,
Especially after the World Cup coming. I want to preserve him. I want him to at least go to the World Cup, no injuries, and so he can represent his country. He's done a lot. So I wouldn't even want to start him against Palace in the game that's coming next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Again, this year Santiago Mendes said I prefer Professor Maximin or Anthony Gordon. Again, I used to like Bailey so much. I don't know what happened. Again, he hasn't. You can say we've seen flashes of what he's capable of doing in the Premier League, but he hasn't done it consistently enough that I'd say Chelsea should go for him. Again, I don't know what happened. Christian Pulisic stays at all costs. Yeah, that happens. I see that happening, but if Potter starts treating him the way, if he starts experiencing the same thing he experienced under Thomas Tuchel under Potter, he probably would leave the club. And I learned that he nearly joined Newcastle United. The issue was that Newcastle don't want a buy obligation; they only want a buy option. They wanted to see if it's going to work before they start to buy him, so that fell through. Again, it's right to have concerns about his value to Chelsea. Yeah, again, it's business for everybody involved. That's just the truth. He should be playing regularly, again, because he and Sterling are the only wingers who can unlock defenses. Okay, I'm not going to go into that much. Chichinho is slow for this team. We need mobility in the midfield and protect the back four. Again, we're not sure what Potter is going to do. We're just hoping, again, he picks a defensive midfielder so we have proper protection for our defense. Almighty Blues Sports Plus, my brother, again, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for finding the time to join. If you haven't, go check out Almighty Sports Plus, not Almighty Blues Sports Plus, but he has another channel called Almighty Blues, again, where he covers all Chelsea content. Again, go check it out. Be sure to subscribe. Again, thank you guys for the show. It's been a brilliant show so far. I don't know, again, if anybody on the panel has anything else to say, or we should call it a day. Bobby has been off for a while. Probably isn't available because I know he's at work at this point. Oh, okay. I was asking you if you had anything to say to Rodrigo, who just got married again.
Oh,
yeah.
Congratulations. what can I say? Congratulations. Enjoy married life.
Yeah. And somebody wished him 1,000 children.
Hey, Rodrigo. Rodrigo, I just want to say, Rodrigo, every argument you have lost. You cannot win any arguments anymore from now on.
Wow.
Yeah?
Even if you have formation, even if you are going together, we play 3-4-3 or 4-4-3.
Your wife now, you're definitely under the fun by your wife. So
listen,
you got to do, you got to pray to God
even if
you're
you're right, Rodrigo, you're wrong.
For your wife, because
you're wrong.
it's not easy.
Yep.
Even if you're
it's
right,
not
you're
easy
wrong.
because once you do something, that is it, mate. You're under the
Again, it's enjoyable, but you have to learn to compromise. Again, to always watch Chelsea games, you need to find a common ground.
Yeah, you got to ask your wife. If you want to watch the football, go to the football game. You got to ask your wife now. That's why I ain't got married yet, because I want to go to a game.
Loads
If I
of
want to go
patience.
to a game, my missus can't.
Sorry, again, Eddie, you were saying something.
Loads of patience, man.
Loads of patience. Yep.
Yeah, patience is the key
And
to
a good
longest
prenup.
marriage.
No, we don't want to go that far. Again, we don't want to. Oh no, please don't. We don't want to go that far. But I get your argument. I think it's all love. It's all love right now. Patience. Find a compromise for games, for you to watch games all the time. Family comes first, and again, like IBC said, you don't have to win every agreement. Probably none. And AD says loads of patience. Again, enjoy it, bro. It's love. It's marriage is a great thing. Good. Again, you see the difference between when it wasn't marriage now. But again, we're here to talk football. We'll talk privately, bro. Congratulations to you. I'm very, very happy for you. You've done a good thing. But I don't wish you 1,000 children.
Me too.
Count me out.
I don't wish you 1,000 children as well.
Yeah, I wish you 10 million. I wish you 10 million.
Yeah. Again, with that, we've come to the end of the show. It's been a brilliant show so far. I cannot thank you guys enough. Rodrigo, even though, again, you should be, enjoying, I know, your honeymoon, you found time to join us. I cannot thank you enough. Again, John Porter says congratulations, Rodrigo. Come celebrate your first anniversary in Jamaica, bro. I have a bottle of, Appleton 21 for you. Again, thank you for that promise. I hope he goes to Jamaica again. I'm happy. He's a nice guy. I've come to know him, to know him again beyond being a panelist here, and I'm happy. Again, we've become friends over time. Again, I cannot thank you guys enough for finding the time to join. To those in the chat also from Liam Lane, who's left early again because of his grandkid coming. I can't thank you enough. Glenn, thank you too. What did Glenn say here again? He will enjoy it. All right, 1,000 children. Yeah, he will. Again, thank you to Jamport Entertainment, Almighty Blues FC. Yeah, that's what his other channel. Be sure to go check it out and subscribe if you haven't. Again, thank you to Augustine Mwauti for finding time to join us. Santiago Munoz, thank you so much. And again, to every other person, the queen of the house who was here, the beautiful game. I cannot thank you guys enough. Sorry if I missed your name. I'm only human. Again, that's it for us today. Hope to see you guys again next time. God bless us all, and bye.
Bye.